Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here. It's Tuesday, and Raptors lost the second day in a row to two Texas teams. This time to the Spurs and Wemby. And yeah, it was a difficult game to watch for parts of it, the beginning mostly, and then the Raptors kind of calmed down and did better as the game went on. But alas, giving up 41 points in the first quarter and letting the Spurs get out to a 20-point lead right away is never good. Never good. But you know what? When I was trying to think about what this game would look like, I had actually saw it could be worse than it was last night, guys. So the fact that they got it down to an 8-point game at times in the fourth quarter and they fought and they continued to try to do better on defense is a good sign. Even if they didn't win, even if they looked really bad at the beginning of the game, RJ after the game in his post game conference talking about how against Dallas they started really well, and they did. They played toe to toe with the Mavericks for the first half, and then the Mavericks busted the game open in the third. Well, last night the Spurs busted the game open right off the bat. So the commitment to trying to compete and win has to be right from the start. And if you're lackadaisical about it and another team is coming hungry, well, they can run out a 41-point first quarter on you. It's tough. I mean, the guy is amazing. Victor, he's amazing. The guy is not real. He doesn't look real. He really seriously is a cheat code. And, he has his problems on both ends of the floor as far as what he presents to other teams when they face him. And there were some real bright spots though in this game last night, and I refuse to get down in the dumps and get too caught up fully on winning and losing here. We got to remember we're still a developing team to an extent, and not only are we a developing team, we're a team that needs to gel because we have our starting lineup together for like 4 games now. So come on, we got to understand. Brandon Ingram's played 4 games with us, and there's still a lot of like main team gelling. And the problem is nobody has any patience anymore. You don't allow for failure with no patience, and that's the problem. We need to allow for the team to cook, to take some time to cook, and it'll taste better later. Do better later when you cook it slow roasted. And in some ways, last year, if we could have gotten more of the starters together as a unit at any point, whether it was Brandon showing up or Emmanuel being more healthy or this or that, we would have had built more on top of that with the starters. But right now, we really are gelling like now. And there's a lot of miscommunication. There's a lot of confusion. There's not necessarily a seal on the defense because not everybody's playing off of each other exactly right yet, because there's still orientation. Now, a lot of people jump to conclusions. They think they understand this Raptors team right away. They don't. This is too small a sample size. In particular, like people have noticed, this has been 3 games in a row against very ultra talented, tall, long arm men that are named Giannis, Anthony, and Victor. And these guys are serious, tough guys to play in this league. In fact, they may be the 3 most toughest like that kind of player in this league. So it's a devious schedule in some ways because, here you go. Here's Giannis, here's AD, here's Wemby right in a row. And well, we've gone to Texas now and played the Spurs and the Dallas Mavericks. We don't have to go back there again this year. They'll come back to see us in Toronto, and hopefully when we see the Spurs in Toronto, we'll have a better outcome and we'll win that game. I feel like going forward, the Spurs are just going to be a very feared team for everybody. Wemby was already kind of scary when he first came in, but as a rookie, he wasn't really understanding what he was doing, and he didn't have an immediate impact. And that was kind of the calm before the storm of him figuring things out and getting to the point where he's starting to get to now. He had a big game against us last night, but it was a quiet game compared to games that he's already had this season. So I think he's going to be doing this to everybody all year, forever now. As long as he's on the team and he's playing and he's healthy and he's still young, that dude is going to be messing up the whole entire league. And we're not special. We're not special. So Raptors fans going to overreact today. Realize this, that Wemby's 4-0 so far this year, and he's going to mess everybody up this year. Before you pause your tongue, before you start going off about this or that. The Scotty can't do this. Darko can't do that. IQ this, blah, blah, blah. No, Wemby can do this. And that's the thing you should be saying. It has, in some ways, nothing to do with our guys. It has more to do with the extremely amazing talent of a 7'5" man that can do so many different skills. So, tough sports night for Toronto last night with the Jays losing late. Double game, 18 innings. That's insane, man. That's insane. I was really hoping that I'd wake up and see that they won. I didn't stay up to try and see who won. That's crazy. Nah, I was up still at 1 and I saw they were still playing. I'm like, holy crap, they're still playing right now? They started at 8 and it's 1 a.m. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. All right, let's get into the chat. We'll do the stars of the game. We'll do the Instagram stories, the Raptors Reddit reactions, the classic card of the day. We'll do all the regular stuff and we'll get out of here. And then tomorrow, preview for the Rockets game. Apparently, they're giving away Sour Patch Kid glow-in-the-dark Raptors shirts at the game tomorrow night. So if you are one of the first 5,000 people to get there, you can get a special edition Raptors Halloween Sour Patch Kids shirt. What a crossover. Crossover I didn't know we needed. Sour Patch Kids and Toronto Raptors. Wow. It's goofy, man. All right, James is in first. Look at that. Raptor Freak James getting in first to the hole. There. Look at that. Lex, should we make a change to the starting lineup? I think it's inevitable that we'll make a change for the starting lineup tomorrow, at least temporarily, because I don't think Jakob should start. I think that he is obviously hurt. He's been ineffective physically, and I think that there's some real serious issues with his back and that he needs to rest. So I fully expect at least that person to be switched out for tomorrow's game against the Rockets. And we'll see, I don't know, Sandro start instead. Maybe we see Sandro out there. Maybe we go smaller. We got to think about who we're playing. We're playing the Rockets, and they've been boasting this large lineup that they want to do. MA's got like a Steven Adams, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith, Kevin Durant, Thompson lineup, which is really big. And in some ways, it's not ideal for Yak to be hurt for us coming up against the Rockets right now. But, who knows? Maybe they start Mobo and they let the Scotty Mobo tag team be the front forward center for us tomorrow. I don't know. But I think it's likely that Yak, because he left the game last night because his back did start seizing up, is going to be sitting out tomorrow. And that may be the change in the starting lineup, at least temporarily, while Yak is not healthy. So we'll just have to see. What is Darko going to do? Some people are already calling out for the rookie to start because he did have an amazing game last night. And some people are already jumping to the conclusion they think Colin Murray-Boyles can play center. I'm like, you guys get ahead of yourself so much. That's the one thing I can't stand about the modern day NBA fan is they really get ahead of themselves in all kinds of ways, whether it's overreacting, overjudging, expecting too much, getting too mad at losses, getting too over the moon with wins. It just stopped. Y'all are like bipolar messes. Seriously. Colin Murray-Boyles had a good game. He had a shitty game against Dallas, and I came down on him. And then he came out last night correctly, and he showed more of what I wanted to see. I chalk it up to this. In the Dallas game, Colin had first game jitters. He had first game jitters, and that's something that happens with players all the time. They come out for their first time, and they're like deer in headlights, and they absolutely suck. And that's what happened to him. But he didn't like how he looked. So he changed that last night, and he did a good job. And that's why he's my number one star of the game yesterday. Colin Murray-Boyles, number one star of the game. He was really strong right away in the first quarter. When we were struggling, at first it was Brandon Ingram doing stuff right at the start of the game. And then Colin kind of took over halfway through the first quarter, that dismal quarter. Yeah, Colin, 24 minutes, had 19 points, 7 of 13 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. I think those 3 3-pointers In some ways they're good, but in some ways they're bad. It's like this dude is not a bona fide 3-point shooter. But if he can make them, I mean, I guess keep shooting them. But there's going to come a time where maybe we rely on him too much and he's just not making any of them. I don't know. I don't want to rely on CMB to make threes. Let's just put it that way. If he makes them, that's fantastic. I'll take it, just like happened last night. But we shouldn't be depending or demanding CMB to shoot threes to bail us out and win. It's not a winning strategy. Trust me. 2 of 4 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, a block, 2 turnovers, a minus 17, which is one of the worst plus minuses on our team, and 19 points. I like the interaction of Murray Boyles with Wemby. Yeah, there was a lot of them getting paired up with each other on either side of the floor. There, he was somewhat really being an irritant to Victor Wembanyama. And then at the other end, late in the game, this would have been nice to start early and maybe get Victor in foul trouble. Colin went directly at Victor and got his first foul in the game. And that was very aggressive. And I like that because you saw how when Victor's put on his heels and back down, he's not as effective. It's really when you let him be so strong and so powerful, you really do have to attack him physically and back him up. And Colin did that at one point, drew a foul and got to the line. And well, is that a good strategy? Maybe next time is like you go at Victor immediately from the beginning of the game and put him in foul trouble. So the Spurs have to think about sitting him very early and he can't go off and go crazy. That seems like a good strategy right there. It seems like it. So Colin may not have had winning minutes overall in the game last night, but he was trying. He was out there trying. He was doing his best as far as what he could try and do. And, well, it just wasn't. It's way better than what he did in the first game. And I like it. I like a lot of it was garbage kind of stuff, right around the basket, cleaning things up, taking advantage of space around the basket. He took his time. You saw how he collected himself to go up with layups and dunks. He was smart. He was very smart. And he showed an aptitude. He even showed a light touch when Emmanuel threw a weird pass, a lob pass, and he couldn't really fully catch it. He kind of just tapped it with his hand off the backboard into the hoop. That was really good too. So yeah, a real bright spot. And the rookie Murray Boyles, he had a way better showing last night. Way better showing. I mean, he's played the last 2 nights against some of the premier rookies from his class, and Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper. And, you can see where they're at. And he's like, holy crap, these are the guys that are in the lottery with me. And I better start looking more like them. And I think he woke up and he did that last night. So number 1 star of the game, Colin Murray Boyles for sure. My second star of the game is RJ. RJ's just the truth. That's what I like to call RJ. RJ, when things are just going wrong all around, RJ's still that steady guy somehow, some way that makes things happen. And it's because he's aggressive. Like I said about Colin, he gets the contact, he gets the line. We saw RJ go up over Victor Wembanyama with the left hook. Very successful, making it over Victor. That's very daring, RJ. Very, very daring to go into the lane and take a left hook over Victor Wembanyama, and he made it. RJ was making 3-pointers from the outside with hands in his face. RJ is just a badass. We love RJ. He did seem a little down and defeated after the game with his energy in the post-conference. Just kind of like sick of it. He's like, basically, RJ said this: I'm sick of other teams scoring on us so easy. That's what he's sick of. And that, something's got to give with the defense with the Raptors, where they got to recommit themselves to the level that they're supposed to be at and go out there and show it. As the game went on last night, casuals and other people, if you noticed, the Raptors defense was getting back to order, and we were seeing it a little bit more like it's supposed to be as the game went on. So yeah, it's tough. RJ Barrett, 32 minutes, 50% shooting at 9 of 18, 2 of 7 from 3, 5 of 5 at the free throw line. You got to love that. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, a minus 13 with 25 points at 32 minutes. RJ was carrying at times when nobody else could score on our team. There were a couple guys last night that were able to carry and score when nobody else could. It was Brandon early, calling after him, RJ kind of all throughout the game. Yeah, which is tough because you want to get more steady scoring. And we have struggled with our offense. We're missing easy shots. We're not totally connecting exactly right because our team is very new with each other. And there's still miscommunication. And there's still things to be smoothed out. Once again, don't overreact, Raptors Nation, to the first 4 games of the season. Allow for a runway of games into the season. Then we'll get a bigger, better picture of what's going on here. In fact, I would say let's wait till the end of November to really fully try and analyze this team, not till the next 2 games. No, wait for next month also and see what they do against a wide variety of teams. We're going to have some Charlotte games next month. We're going to play Washington a few times. We're going to play some of the easier teams, and then we're also going to play some of the tougher teams, and that's how we have to continue to gauge it. So this has been a tough Texas 2-step. It's over. We went 0-2, and it sucks. The third star of the game, I'm going to give it to Manuel, guys. Manuel's been getting a lot of different criticism right now, but I feel like in some ways in the underlying thing, he's been steady. Even if people don't like exactly how he's been playing, he's been steady. Now, he's not scoring a whole lot, but he is chipping in. He's aggressive. He's pushing the ball, and he is getting assists. That's the other thing. People are giving Emmanuel a lot of crap, but he's actually is playing point guard, and he's mixing things up. Once again, the three-point threat that Emmanuel is absolutely essential to the Raptors right now. So everybody who thinks Emmanuel is wasting our time or whatever you think about him, understand that what he's doing for us is essential and important. And his position in the middle of it all is very important, and he's still figuring out things with people like Brandon and the new starting lineup. So Emmanuel, 32 minutes, 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 5 of 6 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, 0 turnovers, 7 assists, 0 turnovers, a -9 with 15 points in 32 minutes. Those are my 3 stars of the game: CMB, RJ, and IQ. Those are my 3 stars of the game. I'll give an honorable mention to Brandon just for carrying early, but he kind of disappeared later in the game. And maybe it was partly because he didn't play a lot, but also he wasn't doing much offense for us in the second half. 32 minutes for Brandon, 5 of 11, 0 for 3 from 3, made all 4 of his free throws, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 0 turnovers, a -21 with 14 points. So honorable mention to Brandon. But yeah, Colin Murray Boyles, welcome to the league, and thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. James is saying this. Another Raptors podcaster was saying Scotty at point guard, Jacoby at shooting guard, Brandon at small forward, CMB at power forward, and Mamu at center. Thoughts? Well, that's a lineup they could put out there. Yeah, they put out a lot of these kind of lineups, not for starting. That's too many changes at starters. That's crazy. Once again, the NBA decides who starts by payroll. If these guys are getting paid way less than the other guys, they're not going to start over them. It's been known. I asked this question to Coach Evo at the Coaches Open House 2 years ago. I said, Coach Evo, how do you guys decide who starts and who gets to play? He said, it's by who gets paid more. That's what he told me. So, James, the guys who get paid the most get to start. That's why we pay them the most, because they're starters. So having wholesale changes where you put 3 bench guys in for 3 starters, that's not going to happen, because those dudes don't get the money that Brandon, IQ, RJ, and Scotty do. Those guys are paid as starters, so they start. Now, if you take one of them out because one of them's hurt, Jakob's hurt, put Sandro in, that's okay. But you're not going to be taking everybody out to put Colin and Jacoby in. No. I'm glad Jacoby got back in the game last night. I'm glad he had a good showing with defense, and I'm glad that he hit a 3. So, yeah, Jacoby, good building block with your first game this season and getting out there and showing you're valuable, because honestly, you look like you need to be out there because you were a defensive presence and you were playing right. So I would say, that little taste of you last night, it will get you more time in the next game. Jacoby Walter, you did a good job. And we didn't see Battle at all last night, which was weird. Yeah. Trevor J, words of wisdom. Let's see what he's saying. If you do not plan your life, fear will plan it. Yeah. Comfort will settle for it. Procrastination will delay it. Destruction well wasted. Doubt will question it. Guilt will receive it. Shame will shrink it. Regret will bury it. Okay. All right. I mean, that's a lot of words and a lot of I don't even know. I don't even know. I'm not about the fear mongering. I'm just not. There's enough bullshit going on in this world, and telling people that you know this and this and this about this. I don't even know what this means exactly. If you do not plan your life, fear will plan it. Man, come on. Anyway, I appreciate you, Trevor J. All the best and blessings to Jones family, all the Raptor Freak families. All right, let's see. Trevor's saying this. Colin Murray Boyles was very good. He belongs as a rookie. Very good defense. If he continues shooting like that, he'll be a very deadly player. Well, once again, the 3-point shots he's getting right now are wide open because nobody respects him or knows him. You know, the same thing happened with Grady as a rookie. He got open shots right away. Well, I don't expect that for Colin if he starts nailing these regularly. So even though he hit these threes last night, he was absolutely wide open. Nobody near him. Now, will he make those shots when he's contested? When people get the scouting report and they start saying, oh, this guy does shoot threes, we better go guard him. I don't know. That's the adjustment we have to see. But the initial, he's wide open. Here's an open three, make it. Yeah, that looked good last night. But I'm not willing to say this man is a good 3-point shooter yet because he doesn't have to shoot with a hand in his face like RJ was last night. RJ was making threes with a guy right up running at him and making shots over people's outstretched arms. Colin Murray Boyle is wide open as a field. And well, we'll just have to see when they adjust to him and say, oh, no, we can't leave him open, whether he makes his shots with some people in his face. Because it's you know, I want him to be a really good 3-point shooter, but he's not known for this. And that's why in some ways I'm suspicious of the Raptors depending on Colin to be a very good 3-point shooter. I'm suspicious of it. Well, hopefully he can do it. You know, Scotty, and once again taking threes last night and looking mixed bag on that. Let's go look at Scott for a sec on the box score. 30 minutes, 3 for 7, 2 for 4 from three. So he made half of his threes. He missed his only free throw, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 2 turnovers, a -8 with just 8 points. You know, and some people will be critical of Scotty for this. He can't do anything right in some ways in some people's eyes. Either he won't score enough or this or that. There's always going to find a critique. I felt like Scott was active and he was out there and he was doing little things. And, you know, in some ways he had to do a lot of the big handling of Victor at times. Scotty was guarding Victor at times. So there's a lot on his plate. And you know, him not scoring a whole lot last night is not a big deal to me because in some ways it wasn't really the game for him to just show up and do that. RJ explaining after the game, you know, some nights it's going to be me, some nights it's going to be Scott. And last game it was Scott. Tonight it was more me. You know, that's just how it is going to go at times. It's going to be different flows to who gets all the offense for us. Brandon, Emmanuel, you know, it's going to be different nights. Jakob is definitely hurt. I mean, it's crazy because some of the shots that he's taking and missing are just ones he was so money at last year. You got to wonder how much pain he's playing in. Seriously, because to be as bad as he's playing, he's got to be not right at all. 1 for 6 from the field for Pirtle. He had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 4 turnovers for just 2 points. Yeah, he's hurting us. He's hurting us out there. If he's out there hurt and he's just not effective. 4 turnovers and only 2 rebounds, that's not good. That's not good. So, yeah, I feel bad about Yak. I'm not going to get mad at him. If he's hurt and that's why he's playing bad, you can't get mad at that. We just got to help he gets healthy quicker and that we can get the regular Yak back as soon as possible. Off the bench, we'll go over the rest of the guys real quick. Sandro Mamu, 17 minutes, 2 for 2 from the field, including a 3. Missed both his free throws. I think that was a gift to the Spurs fans. It's like, because they love him there. He got a hero's welcome. He got the video tribute. He got all kinds of hugs from Wemby and the other guys on the team. Sohan, all those guys love Sandro. In fact, there was a bit of talking trash from the Spurs bench towards him in the middle of the game. And the Spurs fans absolutely love him too. So Sandro missed 2 free throws for them, I guess. No rebounds for Sandro. That's a problem, Mamu. You need to get him. 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 5 points, a -4 in 17 minutes. Yeah, Sandro didn't want to come back and destroy his old team. It was a love fest and smiley, happy time to say hi and hugs and just welcome back. The staff even like very happy to see Sandro Mamu Kelishvili back at the arena too. Jonathan came in at the end for 3 minutes, right at the end. It seems like this this time when Jonathan Mobo comes in is at the end. It's a hurry up and it's a very frenetic, crazy defensive intensity with Jonathan out there. Just go crazy for 3 minutes right at the end and see what you can do. And I like it. I wish we had that energy the whole entire game, though. And I don't know if Jonathan's in there more. Maybe we do get that energy, Darko. 1 for 1 on his only shot. It was a layup going to the basket, 1 assist, and 2 points for Jonathan in 3 minutes. Oshai, a very small amount of him. In some ways, I'm crying out for more Oshai. I think that I'm starting to correlate the success of our team's defense last year to Abaji. That in some ways, Abaji is absolutely essential for the Raptors to play their best defense. And that's why some people have made overtures that maybe he should start as a defensive player in our starting lineup. I don't know. I think that maybe playing Abaji more than 12 minutes in the game is smart because he really is a defensive presence that does a whole lot of things for us. And if we're having defensive problems right now, one of the things that we're noticing is the team can score right now. The Raptors are the 3rd highest scoring team in the NBA right now. So we're not having the similar problems in the past where we can't score. It's not anemic scoring. It's more we have no defense to stop the other team right now. So maybe we sacrifice our offensive power in our lineup for more defensive power. And that's why Abaji should be getting more minutes in the games to come up. Seriously. Because he had a huge impact on our team last year. He was one of our best players on the down low last year. And he was a big reason for our defensive turnaround as a team last year. So I'm a big advocate for getting Oshai more minutes because I feel like he can lead us to winning more. 12 minutes, 2 of 4 from the field, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal, +5. He had a plus minus in the game last night, 4 points for Oshai Abaji. Jamal Shead still playing a very solid backup point guard, but it's just not on a very high level. It's very solid, and it's for the minutes he's out there. 16 minutes for Shead, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, made his only free throw, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, 6 points with a -9. There was really good chemistry with him and Colin in that part where Colin busted out and started showing, hey, I'm here. That little pick and roll action with Shed and Murray Boyles is a very nice mine to mine gold out of. Yeah, I want to see more of that because it seemed like Shed had a good go back and forth with him. There's mostly he was picking and rolling and giving it up to Colin, but there was one play where he used him to play off of and he rolled himself and he put the ball in himself. So all that stuff in that little period of time where Shed and Murray Boyles were working off each other, that was gold. There was a lot of good stuff there for tape. And hopefully Darko and the coaches are devising more stuff with that synergy because it was a good synergy. Yeah, Jacoby, as I said earlier, he got his appearance. He only played for 10 minutes. He hit a 3. He was 1 of 2 from 3, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 block. He was solid, seriously, in that little bit of time. Like, I feel like Jacoby played very smart, solid basketball, and he deserves more time in the next game. Just like Abaji, he could be a way we can uptick our defense and make it better. He is definitely that kind of player. Grady Dick, really bad game last night. 8 minutes, 0 for 2 from 3, and didn't do jack shit otherwise. He got a foul, but surprisingly a +5 in his 8 minutes. They outscored the other team, even if Grady didn't do anything. So yeah, it was a tough game. No play for Jamison Battle. On the other side, Victor Wembanyama double-double, 24 points, a +35, and 15 rebounds, 4 assists, a block, and a steal. He kept his blocks streak, and that was really important to the Spurs announcers because he didn't get the block until late against RJ because he has a streak that he's been on getting a block like every single game for over a season. So it was important for him to get that block late. 22 points from Rookie of the Year, Steph Castle, who's very, very good player, 6 of 12, 9 of 14 at the free throw line. Castle, 22 and 31 minutes. Yeah, that's a good player. They also got really good contributions from the veteran Harrison Barnes, who got 18 in the starting lineup, 6 of 7 shooting. He's just really solid. And then off the bench, Dylan Harper and Keldon Johnson both chipping in with 11 and 10 respectfully. Those guys were both really tough off the bench. And then also we could give some credit to Vassell and Champagny. in the starting lineup. Julian Champagny, very good from the corner with the threes. So, yeah, giving us a little bit of shine to the Spurs and their team. They're a great team, and I wish them well, and I hope that they do win the West. I have no problem with that team. I'm very much happy that Wemby is blowing up now and he's getting better, because this means that the Spurs will be a force in the Western Conference, and hopefully they're going to win some more championships. I am not against that. I'm definitely for Spurs championships. So in some ways, I don't get upset about what happened last night. Some ways I don't, because in some ways I'm like, okay, the Raptors have more work to do, but the Spurs are getting better, and I love that. I love that so much. Trevor's bringing up the Blue Jays lost last night. It took 18 innings for the loss. That sucks, and especially on a Monday night. The diehards that stayed up all night to watch that game, I know you're feeling it this morning, and you're in your work today. Well, let's do this real quick. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood, even though the Blue Jays lost. They got another chance tonight. I have always wanted to tie up this series just like you. We need to tie up the World Series in Los Angeles in Game 4. Boo. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Vladdy and George, can we say that could you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be a win? Oh, hi, neighbor. Welcome. It's the Blue Jays part of the show where I talk about the Blue Jays in the World Series, and they're playing the Dodgers. And, well, they had an epic, historic, fun 18-inning game last night that went till like 2 a.m. Eastern time. And, well, if you stayed up for that one, kudos to you. You have an Iron Man stamina like Morris Peterson, and I appreciate you for it. But, yeah, it was a Canadian that did it to us. It was Freddie. Freddie did it to us. Freddie Freeman, Canadian, hitting that last home run and sending everybody home after that. I was really hoping the Blue Jays would get a heroics right at the 5 versus 5 score forever. Get those heroics, but alas, they'll play again today in LA. Game 4. Even up the series, Blue Jays. And yeah, you're still alive. You're still playing. There's still baseball to play. Let's go. That's right. Trevor J saying this. We're having problems with teams with big lineups because we are not playing our style of basketball. I agree with this. I feel like the Raptors have forgotten who they are. In some ways, they're not dedicated to doing a certain standard of excellence right at the start. And in some ways, this may have been a problem I should have foreseen this summer. You know, the starters are an offensively gifted group for the most part. Scotty's the most defensive, or I guess Jakob and Scotty are more defensive oriented than offensive oriented. The other three are definitely more offensive oriented than defensive oriented. Now, the problem right now is the two defensive oriented players in our starting lineup are ineffective right now. Jakob is hurt, and for some reason, Scotty is not playing right. In fact, he's pissing me off. There's been a couple times where he's guarding down low. He's not boxing out. People are sneaking in and getting offensive rebounds around him. Also, people are coming in, and they're not even bigger players than him, and they're going up near him, and he's not stopping them. Scotty, what the fuck are you doing with your life, bro? Seriously, I love the picture yesterday. We finally revealed Scotty's child. Nobody knew who his child was until yesterday. They posted a picture of Alyssa with his daughter. That's very exciting to see. Happy to see Scotty's daughter. If I had never known that Scott had a daughter or anything like that, that's none of my business. But it got leaked yesterday, and we seen a picture of Scotty's daughter with his baby mama and him sitting at the court side. So it's beautiful. Scotty's a baby, girl dad. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But Scotty, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing down near the basket, man? What are you wasting your life? Why aren't you guarding people? Why aren't you putting your body into them? Why aren't you boxing out? Why aren't you, I don't know what this is, like standing like this on the side of somebody when they go directly to the basket. I don't know what this is, bro. Like, are you trying to guard somebody? You're just standing there with your arms up. I get it. You don't want foul, but you know what you're supposed to do in low post defense? You're supposed to get in between the basket and the player, not stand to the side of them and let them go by you. Seriously, Scott, turn forward and get a wall in front of them. What are you doing, man? Seriously, why are you wasting your life? Why are you not getting back to your defensive fundamentals? Because if you want to be defensive player of the year, you are not anywhere near that right now. Your defense is absolute shite, Scotty Barnes, right now. You are like a matador. You're like, woo, come on through, bull. Right on through the lane. Get the layup. There's too much of that, Scott. Where's your seal? Jakob's hurt. He can't do it himself. You have to step up and be the seal if Jak can't do it, because Jak's back's messed up. Meanwhile, you're just letting him through, Scott. Seriously, you got to box out better. You've got to get in between them and the basket better, because it's open season on the Raptors basket, and they're just coming in and scoring willy-nilly. And in some ways, it shouldn't be like that, Scott. You should be the one who's quality control on that, because out of the starters, Jakob's hurt. He's ineffective. The other guys are scorers first, and they're going to do what they do. In some ways, we can't expect them to be plus defenders, but if they're adequate defenders and they're playing with activity, they're keeping up with the guy they're supposed to guard, that's all I can ask of them right now, because they're not plus defenders, but they're doing their ass. They're busting their ass. I've seen Brandon Ingram playing more defense than I've ever seen in his career. I see RJ and Emmanuel going way out of their wheelhouse of what they normally would do as a player as far as their exertion on defense. But Scotty, all of a sudden you're lagging on defense. All of a sudden you're not pulling your weight in your part, and you're supposed to be the best defender on the team. You can't be OG. You can't be one of the best defenders in the league if you're going to play such ass defense like you have so far this year. So I'm calling you out, Scott. I'm calling you out right now, because you are playing such shitty low post defense, and I can't defend you on that. You should be blocking shots. You should be boxing out. You should be getting rebounds like crazy. Can you dedicate yourself to getting rebounds and blocking shots for a couple games, Scott? And don't even worry about shooting threes or doing anything offensively. Seriously, I don't give a shit if the other Raptors fans come after you for not scoring. I just want to see you get like almost 20 rebounds like Giannis did the other night, and get like a shit ton of blocks too and steals. That's what I care about the most from you, Scott. I'm not going to lie. It's not about your scoring for me. It never has been. It's about the stocks. It's about the rebounds. It's about the defense. So look, can we recommit to this? Because in some ways, you're the leader on this, Scott. And when the players come out and they do not play good defense from the start, and the Spurs get a 41-point first quarter, you're the leader I'm pointing fingers at. Seriously. In some ways, Jak gets a pass because he's physically ineffective. And in some ways, maybe I should be pointing fingers at Darko for putting us in that situation with Jak out there like that. Either way, something's got to change. Y'all need to play better defense, and I'm calling Scotty out for being a better defensive leader. That's a very, very important thing right there. That's a very important thing. Yeah, James is saying Pirtle needs to sit a couple games and come back full strength if he's injured. Yes, I completely agree with this. I think that it's likely he will miss the game tomorrow, and he should. He needs a rest day. You know, don't keep putting him out there if he's not totally right. We need to get him right. Dr. Alex, get on this stat. Seriously, don't fuck around, Dr. Alex. Get Jakob's back right. We need him back right. That's right. Trevor's saying when RJ's on his game, no stopping him. He plays with so much force and so strong. I know. I love him. I love him for that. He's just in some ways, he's like his own word of wisdom. Yeah, those words of wisdom that you guys give me, RJ is just the truth. Seriously, he's like a word of wisdom. If you just are determined and you want it so bad, you can go get it. That's him. He's like the embodiment of a word of wisdom. It's just like, you know, if you really want it, you can go get it. Like RJ on the left hand going off the glass. You can do it. He makes some crazy circus shots. He's a very gifted offensive player. That's why in some ways, like I said, the strength of RJ is the strength that Trevor is talking about. And it's the strength to go through the defense of the other team and get a bucket or get to the line. And we need that on our team. We really do. We really, really do. Isaac is here. Happy Tuesday, folks. Be great. Be great, Four. That's right. We need Four to be great. Be greater. All right, Milbester, I'm not doing this shit, man. Seriously, you're monopolizing my chat too much. I see way too many Milbester comments. They better be on point. We're not talking baseball. I'm giving you 2 or 3 comments on baseball. I've seen how much you're down there. Seriously, I'm not doing this, okay? So maybe pick which ones, pick 3 baseball comments and erase the rest of them, Milbester. I'm telling you to do that right now. And I don't want to talk politics with you today either. You know, you're kind of been a distraction on my channel in ways that I don't want right now. In some ways, I want to focus on Raptors basketball. You want to talk about the World Series. You want to talk about politics. I don't want to talk about the shit you want to talk about. So please respect the channel. And the theme of the channel is Raptors basketball. And if you come in here with a bunch of World Series comments, you better fucking erase all of them except for 2 or 3. Okay? Pick and choose your favorite ones. And if they're duplicitous, definitely get rid of ones that just say the same damn thing over and over again. So look at your comments, Milbester, and figure out which ones you want to put through. If they're basketball related, you can leave them in there. If they're NBA related, you can leave them in there. But if they're MLB related, you get 3 comments, Milbester, and that's it. So start weeding out your comments now before I get to them. All right. Fiercely saying this. Good morning, fam, and happy Tuesday. Key takeaway from yesterday will be the same for all teams. Figure a way to stop Wemby. Yeah, he's unstoppable. This is the other thing like that's going on with us that people need to understand. A lot of teams right now at the beginning of the season are having trouble getting organized and getting set. I was hoping we wouldn't have this issue because we had such a lot of work time this summer, a lot of things going on, like where, these guys were supposed to be getting familiar and revved up, but they're hitting a wall with not being exactly right. Just like a lot of other teams in the league, like the Hawks were when we played them. There's a lot of teams that are getting adjusted to new players on their team, and they're not exactly right. And, the Spurs, for the most part, their nucleus was pretty much from last year. Ours should be for mostly last year, but Brandon's a very important player in the Kaga whole thing, and we're adjusting to having Brandon. We're adjusting to having our starters healthy. And that's in some ways, it's not totally going smooth the last 3 games. So there's a lot of first part of the season orientation that the Raptors did not escape with all of their work this summer that they still have to do right now. One of the things I'm worried about with Brandon is that he's so used to losing in New Orleans to a degree. I don't want him to be lackadaisical and kind of be like so easy to just like, well, we just catching L's. And in some ways, that pattern was happening with him in Pelican land. No, we don't want that. Brandon, we've got to try and strive to get out of the mud and be a winning team. We can't be lackadaisical and just happy and accepting that we're losing games. We need to go and try and win games, Brandon. And in some ways, I know that I'm not blaming Brandon or anything. I'm just saying if there's any kind of energy is like, well, this is how I kind of operate in New Orleans. No, we can't have that. This is the Raptors. It's a new situation. Even though we've lost 3 games in a row, we are supposed to be winning this year. And I don't want to get any vibes like that are carried from New Orleans up here through Brandon Ingram. So Brandon, show that you are that type of player because I know you are. And I know that you will do it. And Darko, in some ways, needs to set you up for success, too. I understand that. So, yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying this. I knew Yak's back was an issue, hence why he didn't perform the level he usually does. I know. At least that's well known. At least it's so starkly worse than what he's normally supposed to be that we can obviously see that there's a real issue here. In some ways, it's not good because that is the position where we're like the thinnest. And he's absolutely a big factor for us to win when he is properly him. It is scary. In some ways, I'm shocked at how ineffective he is right now. I'm shocked at how slow and how bad he is right now. Because in some ways, I haven't seen him been this bad like in a long time. Maybe he had bad games like this in San Antonio. It was interesting because I was watching the Spurs broadcast. Sean Elliott is amazing. Sean Elliott is one of my old favorite players. Honestly, he was one of my favorite players when he played, playing for the Pistons and the Spurs mostly. And Sean Elliott had a lot of interesting things to say about different stuff. He was calling out Scotty for doing stuff that he shouldn't have been doing. Like there was one play where Scotty came down court, nobody else was back, and he pulled up a 3. He made it to his credit, but Sean Elliott came down on him and said, that's a YMCA move. That's a cheap ass move that he just did that. You don't jack up a 3 in transition when none of your teammates are back to rebound. That's just Sean Elliott, old school, calling out like really bad fundamentals on Scott. And that's a thing. I don't like Scotty having bad fundamentals. And he does. He does have bad fundamentals in certain areas. It's just bad basketball philosophy. It's bad basketball strategy. I'm glad he made it. That's good. But in some ways, he got called out. But yeah, Sean Elliott is very interesting calling the game last night. Very, very interesting. They were very kind to Jakob because he's a former Spur. And Spurs fans love Jakob. They love Sandro. So they like our centers. They do. They do down there. Seymour's here. Let's see Seymour. Seymour, if you want to call me, the phone line is open for people today. It is a reaction stream. I will take calls from people that have the number. Whoop-de-woo, whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo. We lost it so early and the sun ain't up yet. Lots of time remaining. Lots of time remaining. Lots of games to be played. We will be fine. Get ready to see some exciting stuff this season. Trust me, we good. We good. I love that. That's the right attitude. And I'm going to give Seymour a dunk. This is what Sean Elliott said. This is actually a really good thing. Sean Elliott, after watching this last night, he said, yeah, there's some problems and they're working things out, but this team is good. And the Raptors are going to be one of the top Eastern teams. That's what the Spurs announcer said after watching us last night. And you think after the first quarter and us getting 41 hung on us, they'd be like, oh, this team is bad. No, Sean Elliott could see the talent that we've got, and he's predicting us to be a top Eastern team. He said that in the fourth quarter last night. Seriously. So just like what Seymour's saying, Sean Elliott's saying it too. That look out, Raptors fans. This team's going to be fine. It's just that we got things we got to work out. So let's listen to the experts. Sean Elliott, former NBA player, very good player, and Seymour Pape, the city slicker. These are the experts. They know what they're talking about. That's right. That's right. Isaac Campbell's saying this. Dunk at Mo's post-game review about unicorn problems. Yeah. I'll give a dunk to Mo. How about that? I'll give a dunk to Mo. In some ways, I'm going to hold my tongue on this, Isaac. I'm going to hold my tongue on this, Josh Lundberg. Okay, let me just see here. All right, let me see. All right, let me see. Let's see. Monique, I will give you a dunk, 123. Yes, we love Monique, the super fan. And she's such a passionate fan for the team. She really is. All right, let me keep going. Fiercely saying this. Saw a clip where BI said, I tried. When guarding Victor, it's difficult, but at some point, CMB caused a turnover, so it's possible. You know, everybody got a chance to try and guard Victor last night. We saw Scotty around him. We saw Yak on him first. We saw Brandon get put on him for a while, and actually, Brandon did look okay against him, like I predicted in the preview of the game. I kind of was saying, like, you know, Brandon's got the length. In some ways, he can kind of stymie him and do stuff. And there was some times where he got matched up on him, and it looked like, but Collins seemed like he was the best on him out of everybody. And it's really this thing where he's fast and quick and reactive enough. The other thing that's really cool about Murray Boyles is he sees ahead. Like, he can project ahead on the court what's happening, and he knows when to go to spots to kind of anticipate like rebounds or the ball and stuff like that. Now, one thing I can't stand that he's doing still is he's doing this half-ass college passing where you got to understand this league is much bigger and stronger and longer, and you can't throw these half-ass passes, Colin. You've got to make sure you're putting a lot into it, and you got to make sure nobody's going to run through your passing lane. So, you know, but otherwise, you know, he was the best at guarding Wemby last night, if you ask me, which is very impressive considering this is only his third NBA game. Or second NBA game. Sorry, it's the second NBA game. And, you know, Wembanyama seems like he's going to be the toughest guard in the whole entire league very soon. If not is already. Yeah. Seymour Salmon and gang. Eye Candy. And Lex, good morning to you, sir. You can call me. Seriously, if you want to do 4 quarters, Seymour, we can do it. If you're busy at work and you can't get away, I understand too. Nako saying CMB. At least one possession. CMB handled Wemby nice. Yeah, I thought he handled him more than just one possession nice. I thought he was doing some interesting stuff to him later in the game. I don't know. It's not enough to start calling at center. This is crazy, Raptors fans. But this is a good early return of, you know, look at what he just did. He's trying to stop or slow down Victor, and he had some success. James is saying Spurs are turning into contender. Fox is still injured. Yeah, I don't even think Fox is necessary. I think they should trade him. I really do. I don't think Fox is necessary. I think Dylan Harper is seriously good. You know, in some ways, I am very impressed with Harper and Flagg. These 2 games in a row, these guys are partly really coming up with the hype. Dylan Harper is not Ron Harper Jr. I'm going to say that right now. You know, I know they're brothers, and it's interesting that he plays with Julian Champagny. They both have brothers in the league. They're both former Raptors. But, you know, Dylan Harper is a very good player. And in some ways, I would trade De'Aaron Fox out of there, San Antonio. Seriously, he's not necessary. In fact, it's kind of crazy I know the Spurs kicked our ass last night, but they were missing some very good players still. Like they had Luke Cornett. He's not even playing. He's a good backup center for them. They didn't have some of their good players. So, man, the Spurs are going to be very good this year, James. They're definitely going to be a contender. And I expect them to do well. Hopefully, they can get somewhere in the playoffs, too. They may have a learning curve as a young team of where they're going to get beat by a more experienced team like Denver or something. But they need to make some noise. They're definitely a playoff team. They've missed the playoffs so far with Wemby. They're not going to do that this year. They're making the playoffs this year. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Spurs might have a puncher's shot. A puncher's shot? A puncher's shot. Puncher's shot. I don't know. We'll see. It's not likely that they'll go all the way to the championship this year, but who knows? Anything can happen. The Thunder are going to try and get in their way. That's for sure. The Thunder are going to try and get their way. Seymour saying I passed out in the 15th inning and I'm out west. I know. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I couldn't believe that game was still going. I figured since we were starting, we would be done right around the same time as them. 8 o'clock starts on both games. But no, they went another 3 hours after we got done, which was crazy. Yeah. And I kudos to the Jays fans that stuck with that and watched it all the way to the end. Seriously. And I know it may be a tough day for y'all today, but hey, listen, you got to do it again tonight because they're going to play again tonight, right? Game 4. They don't take a day off because they played 2 games worth of time last night, did they? They played literally 18 innings. That's 9 plus 9. That's 2 games. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. A lot of usage of pitching last night. Yeah. Let's see. Kareem saying this. I love Wemby, and he's going to be great. I just can't classify him amongst the greatest just because his size. Am I making sense? He's just taller than everyone. It looks like he's playing on a Fisher-Price net. I know what he's saying here. It's kind of like you don't think he's real, and in some ways you don't think he should get the same application as everybody else because it just seems so unfair. I get what you're saying, but no, he's going to be one of the greatest, and it's partly because he is completely an evolution. Like he's literally a singular person who's an evolution of the game. And who knows, he may be the first very common people that are coming down the road in the future for the NBA. Like 7'5", we won't blink at it with that kind of skills. Maybe because there's going to be in the next generation or so a couple more guys that are like him, and he'll be more commonplace. But right now, he is very kind of alien to us. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I get how you feel about this, but also at the same time, no, he's real. And what he's doing does seem like it's on a Fisher-Price net. But that's just even more impressive to me in some ways. And the thing is, like, look, I think Wemby's amazing. I think he's an amazing person besides being a basketball player. I think that he stands for a lot of the right things in this world. He's a very socially conscious person. He cares about things that matter. I think that he's also very much a very thoughtful person. Like I love the things he's done to get better. Like going to this monastery this summer, working with Olajuwon, the respect he shows towards Duncan and Ginobili and Parker and the history of the Spurs. He's just a really good kid all around. I mean, he's exemplary. The fact that he's who he is plus who he is personality-wise is top notch. And I have no hate for Victor Wembanyama or the Spurs. I love your team. You're my Western team, and I'll root for you guys to go very far this year. So, yeah, man, Wemby's just such a great young kid. Seriously, I'm a big fan. In some ways, I'm just glad he's on a team that I love. If he was on a team that I didn't love, well, it might be a little bit more harder for me to like him. Let's just put it that way. But, yeah, I think he's a great kid. He's very humble. And in some ways, there's some things in his personality that Scotty needs to learn from. Seriously. There's some things about Victor that you may need to pick up from, Barnes. Seriously, because he's carrying himself as a grown-up, more gentleman kind of person with the fundamentals. And Scotty, some of the shit you're doing is Bush League right now. And you shouldn't do that stuff. I think it's crazy that Victor will do crazy turnaround layups. And like there was one he made in traffic that was purely on instinct. And it's not even like, I mean, he could reach up and dunk it on this ways, but he's doing crazy little like flip over his head, kind of off the backboard kind of stuff too. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Nako's saying this, Mamu should probably start for the game against the Rockets. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that if Yak is out, Mamu's the next guy in, and that I would do that. I don't want to play Scott at center straight up. It's going to be too much for him. How the fuck are they going to handle this if they start the big lineup tomorrow night? Like if they have Steven Adams, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith, Kevin Durant, and Thompson at point guard. What are we going to do with that lineup as far as guarding it? Well, we should use the strength against it. That use some speed and go around them. I don't know. Can we match them size for size? I don't know. I don't think we can. We're just going to have to see what Darko and the coach's strategy is. In some ways, Darko, you're under fire right now because you've had some embarrassing losses. And one of the things that I can do to defend you is when you show really good coaching, exemplary decisions. And in some ways, we're not seeing that right now. So give me some ammunition to defend you with, Darko, on my channel. And that means show me something you're doing coaching-wise with your staff and game plan-wise that I can toot your horn for so that I can fight your enemies in our fan nation. Because they are talking so much shit right now and they want you fired. And I want to defend you, Darko. But you need to do something with your coaching that's evident that I can point out to the other fans so I can shut them up. And in some ways, you're not giving me that completely. In some ways, it's got to be like a very ingenious offensive set or an inbounds play, or maybe just a good timeout where you got the right effect on the team to shut down the other team all of a sudden because the defense got fixed. We need that because in some ways, I'm a huge fan of yours, and I want you to be the coach of the Raptors. But if this season's going to look like the last 3 games, you're in trouble, bro. I'm not going to lie. You're going to be in trouble this year. If you can't fucking get this defense set solidly, consistently, and giving a good effort like you did in the second half last season, if you can't get that captured in this season, we're fucked, and you're probably going to get fired. And I don't like saying that. I'd rather you do things on the court and see things that I can tout and say, look, he's a good coach. See, he drew up this play, and Jonathan Mobo made a last-second shot at the preseason, and we won. That's what I want to say about you, Darko. But in some ways, you're not giving me a whole lot to go on as far as like, look, this is what our coach is doing to add to us to be able to be successful. Because right now, I don't see y'all being very good with your organization of what the players are supposed to be doing because they don't look like they're organized right. And you got to fix this, Darko, because your detractors are coming at you with knives to try and get you fired. And I want to defend you. You got to give me more material to use to defend you. That's what I'm saying right now. Yeah, Kareem's saying, Smooth, that third base coach was getting too greedy. Yeah, I don't know. Smooth took out the baseball stuff. I didn't see the game. I don't see the game. Did somebody try and wave somebody through and that was too close at the plate? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the game. Smooth, you didn't have to take your comments. My comments were to Milbester because we know he abuses this. If you wanted to talk about baseball for a couple comments, you're welcome to. Just let's not make it totally about the Blue Jays. You just know how Milbester is. He just goes overboard. Seriously. Yeah. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying this. Oshai, Dick, Jacoby, and Battle all play the same position. Is there a player in the NBA that we can trade for that combined with their skills plus set plus defense? I just find that we are deep in that position, are struggling in it. Some people were saying last night that we should tone down the rotation and make it smaller with really, really premium players. But on certain nights, we don't know who the players are exactly because we have a plethora of guys to choose from the bench. I like what Shaq Lindsay's saying here. In some ways, he's calling for a consolidation of getting that position maybe more figured out and just more set. I don't know. It's up to Bobby. We got to just let Bobby GM, and he'll make the decisions when. It's too early to make a trade. You don't make trades at this point in the season. And we just got to let it work out the first part of the season. And Bobby's analyzing it. He's going to look at it all, and he'll make the right decisions when he has to make the right decisions, when it's time. And it may be midway through the season. It may be around December. We'll just have to see when Bobby Webster pulls the trigger. I'm pretty sure he will do a trade this year, though, because we're not coming out the gates totally smooth and kicking a lot of ass. So in some ways, the pressure for Bobby to make a trade in the middle of the season is going to be there unless we turn it around and we start looking way, way better in the next month or so. We'll just have to see. I'm not against a move if we're going to be struggling like this. Yeah, I'm not against it. Smooth saying this. The Blue Jays really are up against it now. they've shown resilience all year. I really hope they have it in them against losing the way they did, gutting. George Springer injured, out for the remainder of the series. George Springer got hurt last night. That's no good. I did not know that. You know what? Listen, that's the kind of stuff that storybooks get written about. And listen, just because the game went so long and it was so like that, does that really defeatist? Seriously. In some ways, I would be like, damn, we just took them to 18 innings and they're supposed to be the absolute best team in baseball. I don't know. I wouldn't want to frame it as such a calamity, as such a doomsday. I would be just like, you know what? We're still here. We still got a chance. Let's go get it. And let's do it for George. That's what I would be saying if I'm the Blue Jays right now. They got to lose 2 more times to lose this thing still. And they got a lot of chance to still win. So they need to go in this game tonight with a winner's attitude and saying, we got to get even with them. So I don't know. I wouldn't have a defeatist mentality about this. I would be like, yeah, our back's against the wall. It's time to push back harder and come back and get this series even. That's right. That sucks that Springer's hurt, but in some ways that can be inspiring. I know his hit percentage has been absolutely out the wazoo. George Springer has been crazy this postseason. Seymour saying Glorilla has been at every game so far this season in support of her man, Brandon Ingram. Yeah, there's a picture of a little clip of Brandon kissing her at the court side at the game. I guess it was last night or maybe it was Dallas. Yeah, she's there. And Brandon's PDAing her on the lips. Mwah! Glorilla. Yeah. Nako's saying that stat line for a rookie in his second game is real good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Flag had bad night last night. RJ's been a bright spot. Okay. All right, Gerald. Yeah, it was much better than the first game. And in fact, I wasn't expecting a 19-point outburst by Colin, and I was very pleasantly surprised. This is why I was so mad at him the first game, is because I saw some of the stuff that he did last night that I know he can do, and he didn't do it. And I guess, like I said, I know I came at him in the stream yesterday saying, you need to do way better. And I was right. And he did. He got out there and he did way better. And I really do feel like it was a first game jitters thing, that this shit happens. People come out and they're just too about, it's my first NBA game. Oh, I'm shocked. I'm frozen. He was a little frozen in the game against Dallas, but he heard all the noise. He saw something. He's like, wow, I don't like this. That's what RJ said after the game. He said, yeah, Colin didn't like how he played in the first game. He went out there and changed it the second game. And it's good. We're rooting for him. It's encouraging for him. We want to get him going. He's a good player. We believe in him. That's what RJ said about Colin after the game last night. That's right. Kareem saying this. Yep, she sticks better than Gorilla Glue. Glorilla Glue. How about that? Glorilla Glue? Ooh, Fiercely saying RJ is a beast. He's a true competitor and wants to win. Yeah, we love our RJ Barrett. RJ, you're the man. And in some ways, you just keep going, bro. You guys will figure it out. You guys just got to get it going. And you will. Who knows? Any game's a game where they can win. You know what? If we lose tomorrow night, but we win on Friday, I'll take that. Seriously, because Friday's in-season tournament. It's on the road in Cleveland. Yeah, beat the Cavs, a top Eastern team, where they're at. That's right. That's what I'm all about. All right, we did get a call today. All right, let's see. Let me put this on speaker. Hello, caller. You're on the air on the Raptor Freak channel.
Yo, it's Seymour Pate on Calgary.
4 quarters.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about something. What's your take on the way how everybody's jumping on Chauncey Billups and
Terry?
Terry Rozier, and it seems like everybody's coming out pointing the finger, being a private investigator, talking about Scott Foster, and everybody's pointing. Well, how come nobody's talking about the Clippers owner, the billionaire dude who paid Kawhi on the table? It's like, did we forget about that situation?
Yeah.
It just seems like everybody's so quick to hang Chauncey and Terry, but no one wants to take out the billionaire dude who was paying $28 million under the table for our player, for Kawhi, right? It's like we're going to skip that and just start hanging Chauncey and Terry. I'm not saying they're innocent. I'm not protecting them, but still, we got some fish to fry, and it seems like people are jumping the fence on certain things.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Seymour. I think that, this is a strategy that certain people, rich people, are using right now, is to distract. And whether you could go, we could talk about the Epstein files, we could talk about aspiration, Those are both things that implicate people that are very powerful, that have a lot of money, and they can pay a lot of money into the entertainment and media that's totally bought by oligarchs now, and confuse the situation and get other people more spotlight on them. This is what this is. It is a distraction. You're exactly right. And in some ways, Adam Silver doesn't really want to prosecute Steve Ballmer for aspiration, obviously, or he'd go all in on him, but he doesn't want to do that because in some ways, Steve Ballmer is one of the richest people involved in the NBA.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is like this, I think that once again, also, Donald Trump has some sort of thing where he's coming at the NBA right now because they're not only are they putting the stories about Chauncey and Terry Rozier on TV, but on ESPN's headline front page for the whole last week, it has had that at the top as the headline is like, oh, the betting scandal. Like it's almost like there's some sort of conspiracy to put this more out there and get it out there. And also to kind of hurt the NBA. Like there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, you shouldn't watch the NBA anymore. Obviously there's gambling and it's all fixed and all this bullshit. There's a lot of extrapolation, but I completely agree with you. And honestly, it's crazy to me how some of the NBA insiders like Shaq and other people are coming in on Chauncey like that. I mean, I get it because like, look, Shaq is right. You're messing with your family's lives, like your kids and your wife, when you make risks like this. And Chauncey Billups, to me, seemed arrogant about this. Like he probably thought he could do this shit and just get away with it. And, the mob being involved and all this kind of stuff, it's crazy. It's a crazy situation.
I want to chime in on what you're saying there with Shaq saying, you're hurting the fan. I want to put another aspect on it. Like, let's say Michael Porter Jr., who played for Denver, right?
Okay.
Let's say his brother didn't do what he did and didn't tarnish the family last name. That man might be still in a Denver Nuggets uniform. He might have been moved because of the toxicity behind Jante's situation and dirtying up the family last name.
There could be some truth to it, but I think it's more likely the first reason why Denver traded him was his salary size. And just like, because he had a crazy contract they signed him to. And in some ways, it didn't age well. But I mean, that's probably a very good byproduct of shipping him to Brooklyn, is that there's not that kind of stuff. Because it's crazy because they trying to hang more gambling kind of suspicion around us just because of our association with Jonte. And even now, a lot of the headlines have been misleading. They've been saying 4 teams were mentioned in the gambling problems: Lakers, Hornets, Trailblazers, and Rangers. And to me, it's like, why are they bringing us up in this whole thing? Our connection to the gambling is only through Jonte. And Jonte is an absolute asshole who gets what he deserves. But the Raptors don't have any kind of overall gambling problem. And there's no issue right now. There's no allegations. There's no charges towards us. But the misleading article will come out and put us in the headline as saying team that was mentioned. But they're not saying that it's just that we were gambled on. It's not that we have anything to do with anything now. It's just the misinformation of today's news world at this point. Misleading headlines that don't tell you the whole truth. And it's annoying. So, yeah, you want to do a second quarter?
Did you see, I put it in the chat. Last night, Desmond Bain, he sort of tripped up Maxey, and Maxey fell, and Desmond Bain sort of stood over him. And Maxey got up, and it got pretty crazy there in that game. So I could see a little rivalry between Philly and Orlando.
Yeah.
Which I like because they're both rivals to us. So I don't like either side.
Sure. Interesting. I think that I'm trying to think in the past, has Orlando and Philly really played each other in the playoffs very much? I don't think so.
No, they haven't.
I don't think so.
Both those teams always run into us. Those are like our first, them or the Knicks are usually like our first round opponents.
Yeah. I mean, we've had Wizards too, and Pacers, and we played the Bucks a few times in playoffs too. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember a Sixers Magic rivalry, but if there's going to be a little bit of this going on going forward, hey, go for it. I mean, that's interesting. I did not know about that. The Sixers won that game, right? They've started the season 3-0, which is absolutely crazy to me. It's kind of crazy.
turn the coin. I thought it was, and kudos to you for that call on the Celtics. I honestly thought they had a bone in their body, but they haven't even mustered a win yet, and they look really bad. They do look really bad.
They did win one game last night. They did win their first game. Yeah. But yeah, they have been bad so far. I think they're like 1-3, like us. But still, they've had a rough start so far, for sure. All right, man.
Us missing that one, with us missing Hurdle and them missing Tatum, I still put us in a better position. Like when you look at the pieces, what we have, yeah, we look good.
Oh yeah,
we look good.
No, we have a better team than the Celtics this year. We do, and it'll be proven in the record by the end of the year too. All right, you want to do a third quarter?
Yeah. So you said you wanted San Antonio to win the West?
Yeah, that's my Western team. I've rooted for them since I was a little kid. Like I used to have Spurs shirts before the Raptors even existed. My Spurs starter jacket, I bought it before the Raptors existed. So I historically am a Spurs fan. Like my teams in the 80s were the Pistons and the Spurs. And then the Magic came in '89 and they became my favorite team because they were close to where I lived. So Orlando Magic was like my favorite team from '89 to '95. And then when the Raptors came, they became my favorite team. But the Spurs were always my Western team, number one. Out of all the Western teams forever, it's always been the Spurs. And this was way before they won a championship. I'm not a bandwagoner. I started liking them when David Robinson came to their team as a rookie. And I liked them all through the 90s, through all the struggles in the playoffs against the Suns and the Rockets and all the other teams they played in those days. So I come by it honestly. So I'm not like jumping on a bandwagon because they're dynasty. I'm not jumping on bandwagon because of Wemby. In fact, it was really awesome when they drafted Duncan because Duncan was my favorite player in college at Wake Forest. And then all of a sudden, my favorite Western team had Duncan. And I loved Duncan as soon as he came in, and we saw what Duncan did in his career. So I'm a huge Tim Duncan fan. So I'm a very big Spurs fan in general. So, yeah.
Yeah, Duncan was good. I wish he engaged more with the crowd. To me, Duncan reminds me of like a Jokic. He's just a silent killer.
Yeah.
He lets his game do the talking.
Yeah.
I really liked guys like John Wall in those days and stuff, the flashier guys, but Duncan was he was a beast, man.
He's just solid, the big fundamental. In some ways, I appreciated that he wasn't all flash and wasn't really like talking trash or anything. Like he did talk trash though. On the down low, I've heard that Tim Duncan would say stuff like, "You can't guard me," or he'd say stuff like this. He'd say that, but he'd say it really nicely. He'd be like, "Yeah, you're too late." He'd say it like that in his voice too. Then in some ways, that's kind of more overpowering. It's like, damn, this guy's like kind of nice killing me, and he's also nice talking trash. I have to respect it.
So they got us at 20 right now in the power rankings. Right. Our next opponents, I think, is Cleveland and Memphis. Do you see us getting a win in there? Like, you see us taking out which one of those teams you think we got a better shot?
Well, Memphis obviously is the easier game out of that, but we got Rockets first tomorrow. Then we got Cleveland, and then we got Memphis. But yeah, Memphis is the easiest game out of those three for sure. Even though Ja is healthy, and they're a way better team when Morant's there. So we'll just have to see what happens. Each game, step by step. And I would say to Raptors Nation, just kind of open your eyes to the possibility of us doing better than you think we will, and maybe even winning in some of these games coming up. Because we're gonna win some of these games that we're not supposed to win at some point. Because just like the game with Atlanta, things were clicking. And when we get the Raptors to click a little bit better off of each other, it'll be easier, not easier, but we'll have better chances to win. We'll have better chances to win. Because right now we're not playing well off each other correctly exactly right now. And that is all going to get worked out more and more as the season goes on. So, yeah. Seymour, man, anything else you want to add real quick on the show today? With your four quarters.
So you said we got Houston next?
Yeah, we're playing Houston here in Toronto tomorrow night. I was going to go to this game. I was supposed to go, but Fred got hurt, and then Adriana can't go because she has to stay home and take care of her grandmother. So we're not going to this game. We originally had tickets to go tomorrow night, But instead, we're going to go to the in-season tournament game with the Pacers and Siakam at the end of November. It's on a Wednesday also.
So let's say you was Darko and you put Darko cap on this morning.
Okay.
What lineup are you looking at going against Houston, especially if they come out with that big lineup that we were talking about the other?
I know. I was talking about this earlier. If they do that and we don't have Yak totally right, you could look at it both ways. You could try and match up with them size to size, or you could go the opposite and really try to run them off the court with a really fast team. There's a couple of different strategies you can do here. It's just that you got to watch out for them dominating you in the paint. So, man, it's a tough thing. I just wish Yak was 100%. Him being on not 100% to start the season has been disastrous for the Raptors so far. I think that we have a way better showing against these last three teams, Giannis and Dallas and San Antonio, with 100% Yak, being 100% Yak. And that's been a huge problem with why we're losing right now, is that. So
yeah, they should just rest them, sit them, rest them, because we want them 100%. We don't want them at 90 or 85.
No, and then like in this game tomorrow night, this is a big boy game with some big guys on the other side. In some ways, if he's not 100%, I don't want to put him in a place where he could get in more trouble with injury because he's having to body Steven Adams tomorrow night. So
yeah,
it's like,
is it a men that's over there? Yeah, a men's over there. A men Thompson.
Yeah.
He's pretty violent. Like I'm not trying to dirty his name or anything, but he's been already in a couple altercations this season. I seen him elbow the guard of New Orleans Pelicans. I think it's Alvarado or whatever, the avocado dude.
Alvarado, yeah. I've made this comparison before for both the Thompson twins. They're like wrestlers that don't wrestle safe. It's like, wrestlers like Ultimate Warrior or Scott Steiner, guys that are the Road Warriors in their early career. They would go out there and absolutely hurt people. And I feel like the Thompson twins are like that. They're not protecting their opponents. Like, there should be an unwritten code in the NBA that, we all have livelihoods. We all want to be able to play and be injury free. The Thompsons don't abide by that. In some ways, they're very reckless, dangerous players that put people at risk in the name of being like aggressively defensive or something like that. I don't agree with how they play totally, because I do feel like it's dirty. And I do feel like it's just like the Ultimate Warrior, where he was hurting people on purpose, like not even knowing what he's doing. He's just out there clotheslining people and hurt people. And he shouldn't be doing that because he wasn't trained to wrestle properly and not hurt people. I feel like that's what what's going on with the Thompson twins is they're just not safe. Yeah.
Ahmed Johnson, do you remember Ahmed Johnson?
Ahmed, from wrestling. He was in the WWF for a while. He was in the Nation for a while, and then he got kicked out. And then he was dangerous too. Yeah, as a wrestler, he definitely did hurt people too. Yeah.
Yeah. River Plunge.
Yeah. And do you remember this, Seymour? Ahmed Johnson went to WCW briefly after WWF, and he was a part of the Harlem Heat 2000. Like, he was on a team.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah, no, I didn't remember that.
All right. Well, what they did was he came in and he had a feud with Booker T, and he took his spot, and him and Stevie Ray were Harlem Heat. And they were fighting Booker T as the good guy. And Ahmed was like in Harlem Heat 2000. It was the really bad era of WCW. And they weren't a good tag team. Stevie Ray and him were not a good tag team together because they had the same weaknesses as a big guy. So, yeah, Booker T was the big part of it. Anyway, we're going to the WCW talk here. It's crazy. All right, Seymour.
I got OKC taking down San Antonio. I don't see San Antonio. But one thing I want to say about San Antonio is I think they're a lot like how the way they've built their team is a lot like how we've built our team, and I like it. The mix of having a vet in there, having young guys, and having some guys with medium tenure in their career, right? Yeah. It's not like we don't have a team like Golden State where it's all old guys.
Yeah, they've got a lot of young crops coming up, and I mean, this is crazy that the Spurs could possibly get 3 rookies of the year in a row.
Which is crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. And this is the other thing I found out yesterday that's amazing is Wemby is really motivated because Chet won a championship this year. He hates that apparently. And in some ways, he's gauging himself against Holmgren. and he wants to go get a championship. This is what's motivating him the deepest, is that Chet got a championship already, and he doesn't like that. So
it makes sense because that's why I'm a fan of Chet. There was a game I watched. I think it was like under 17 or under 18 Worlds. It was a couple of years back, maybe like four years ago. Wemby was in it for France. Chet was USA. Canada was in there.
mm-hmm.
I think we got the bronze in that tournament, but it was France and USA in the finals, and Chet Holmgren won the gold for US, and they beat Wemby.
Yeah,
and ever since then,
in some ways, I feel like Wemby's building a Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson kind of thing with Chet, and that he's totally gauging his career against his. So he's down already. So that's the thing. They're saying Wemby's extremely motivated this year. And that's part of the reason why he's come out like he's doing right now and shown the new level of who he is that he seriously, I think you're right. I think that the Thunder still are going to be the top dog in the West, but the Spurs are going to be knocking, and they're going to be making them have a scare this year already. But I think that ultimately the Thunder will prevail this year. But I can't tell you what's going to happen after this year, because the things that are happening and developing in San Antonio are very conducive to more Larry O'Brien championships for that franchise. I can tell.
Yeah, they got Harrison Barnes, who would be their Caruso, be the match Caruso, but yeah, they don't have an SGA. I would never put Castles is an amazing player. Yeah. To me, I look at Jacoby. I would throw even Jacoby in there with a Castle.
You know what? Speaking of this, I thought that Jacoby did a really good job on Castle last night when he got put out there, and I can tell that they have a relationship from before. They came in the same draft class, and I'm pretty sure Jacoby Walters talked about playing Stephon Castle in the lower levels. And well, I thought that Jacoby actually understood him pretty good. He was actually kind of frustrating him and holding him off from scoring the period of time that Walter was in the game, which was a good sign. That's part of the reason why I was saying, man, Walter did pretty good last night. Even if he only hit 1-3, he did a good job kind of containing Castle. So, yeah. All right, Seymour, one more thing, and then we'll move on with the show, my guy.
I gotta run.
Okay.
I'm always like Hulk Hogan. I'm listening to y'all.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Seymour. Always great to hear from the sheriff out west in Calgary, checking in with us on a reaction stream. 4 quarters with Seymour Pape. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Let's go, Raptors. All right. Awesome. So happy to hear from Seymour today. Like I said, one of my favorite news segments on the channel is when Seymour calls me and we talk some topics. 4 quarters with Seymour Pape. I love it. Good stuff, man. We covered a lot of good stuff in there, I feel like. And I really do think Wemby is going to be very, very motivated. And, you know, a guy like him with his skills and stuff like that, yeah, if he's gauging himself with Chet Holmgren, he's behind. And he's got to come and catch up. He's coming. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Where are we at? Nako's saying we got better in the 4th quarter. There's still kinks. We actually outscored the Spurs in the 3rd, which was great. The 3rd quarter had some really good defensive energy. We were causing the Spurs not to get field goals. Most of the offense of San Antonio in the 3rd quarter was derived from free throws and getting to the line, but not making field goals. And that's a symbolic thing of the Raptors doing a better job of irritating and stopping the Spurs, and particularly Wemby. That's a real task to be able to do that. Seriously. Fiercey saying, had we hit more of the 3-pointers, it would have been a more competitive game. Yes, I'm adding IQ for my 3rd star. Yeah, I want to give IQ a star this game because I feel like, you know, he hasn't got any stars from me until this game. You know, but I feel like he's been solid to a degree, but, you know, this time I'll give it to him. All right, on the team stats, since Fiercey brought it up, the Raptors got 13 more shots on goal than the Spurs, but they still made 2 less. So this has been a big problem for the Raptors. The field goal percentage of the other team, once again, is almost 60. You know, the Mavericks shot 58%. The Spurs shot 58%. This is a huge area of concern. And this is the stat that the Raptors coaches want the players to change. Opponents' field goal percentage is way too high, Raptors. And once again, my little tirade against Scotty Barnes. You're the defensive leader of this team, Scott. The field goal percentage of the other team looks too high. You need to lower it, Scotty. Seriously. The 3-point shooting, as Fiercey brought up, was 13-12 for the Spurs. They made 1 more than us. They shot less and shot 48% from 3. and we shot 38% from three. I mean, we could have made a couple more threes and it would have helped, Fiercey. Sure. Our free throws, they shot better at the free throw line, 83%. We shot 74% from the line. So there was a little bit of problems at the free throw line with not concentrating or coming through with those. But yeah, we got doubled up on rebounds. This was a huge problem. 44-20. We only got 20 rebounds last night. How the hell does that happen, Raptors? Only 20 rebounds. That's really, really bad. And 44 doubled up +4. That's not acceptable. Only one offensive rebound for the Raptors last night. We did get 29 assists, which is exactly the same amount of assists as them. And our turnovers were 15. So 29-15. That's a pretty much 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio as a team. And well, we did make them cough it up more and more as the game went on. They ended up with 21 turnovers. So 29-21 assist to turnover ratio for the Spurs. So at least we did get it going with the steals later on in the game and the disruption and causing the Spurs to turn the ball over. Some of those turnovers were unnecessary and bad turnovers by the Spurs also. Fast break points, we got them 44-40. I wish we could have done, 14-9, and we did beat them in points to paint, 44-40. So yeah, the Spurs got less calls on them. We had 6 more fouls called on us. But yeah, it is what it is. You know, the out rebounded stuff was horrible. 44-20 on the rebounds last night. That is bad, man. That is bad. Shaq Lindsay saying our shooting guards off the bench are not shooting. It's so bad that we are playing Battle, who is a third string player. Give credit to Oshai and Jacoby for playing defense, but Grady should be far ahead of them. You know, Grady's in a tough spot because there's a lot of competition around his spot, and the nature of his role is streaky in some ways. You know, I wish that Grady was money no matter when he took a shot. In some ways, he needs to be that, but he's such a dynamic player where he'll drive and cut and he'll do other stuff than just shooting. In some ways, if he was just concentrating on being a total dead-eye sure shot, you know, and he was making every single shot that he shot, that would be really awesome. But in some ways, we know Grady's human and he's going to miss shots too. I don't know. I don't want to dump on Grady. I don't want to dump on any of them. Maybe it's true. Maybe Darko needs to stop playing like 4 of them in a game and really give like a concentrated effort to 2 of them each game and sit 2 of them out a game and put 2 in and give them good 30 minutes so they can really go instead of having 4 guys play 10 minutes each. You get 2 guys to play 20 minutes each. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is to this because in some ways, Grady's not getting enough of a landing strip to take off, to get going like he did in the first game. He got going right away in the first game and boom, 21 points off the bench. And that's what we really do want to see from Grady. But if he doesn't have it early and he's not a good defender and Darko doesn't want him to be out there hurting us on defense, he's not making a shot. He doesn't play as much in the second half and we don't get to see him help us. I don't know. In some ways, this has all got to be sorted out by Darko and his rotations and what he thinks is what we need the most at that time. All right, Milbester, here we go. Here's the first one. Lex, brutal loss last night. I'm not going to characterize it as brutal. It's just a long-ass game, and there's somebody's going to win at the end of it, and that's just how it goes. It could have easily been a Blue Jays home run that won this game last night at some point, too. So I'm not going to characterize it as brutal. That's a very close game to go 18 innings. That's crazy. Yeah. I saw the second longest World Series game in history. The 2018 World Series Red Sox-Dodgers game 3 in 18 innings. Last night was tied for the longest World Series game of all time. That's pretty impressive. That's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. And I guess they have rules now, Milbester, during the regular season so that they won't go this long in a regular season game because they don't want marathon things. Don't they do like a home run derby or something like that or a shootout? Because I know that they're going to have like the extra innings no matter what for the World Series at this level. But for some reason, I feel like baseball does an early end to the game so they don't go too deep in extra innings like hockey would with the shootout. Don't they do that? I don't know. I'm so out of the loop with Major League Baseball rules and whether they changed it or not. It's very interesting. Race mode's here. Good to see Edmund. Edmund's back. Hey, thank you for supporting the channel, Edmund. And I hope you've been doing very well. I hope your boys are doing great. And everything's going great in the race mode world. Oh, what's up? What's up, Lex and crew? I'm a horrible Raptors fan. Let's go, BJ. Let's go, BJ. I guess you are in some ways. You said, let's go, BJ. Oh, you're saying the Blue Jays, hopefully. You're not mixing up Brandon and RJ. No, Edmund, you're not a horrible Raptors fan. I know that you're a busy guy, and in some ways you come and go, and when you can show up, you will. We love you, Edmund. Race Mode Daily's been the #1 Raptor freak since the beginning, and he'll always be a true one to me. That's what I'll say right there. So don't feel bad, man. We're always here for you if you're ready to come back and want to catch up on what's going on with the Raptors. I know you're a busy guy, and there's a lot going on. Let's go, BJ. That's right. Let's go, Blue Jays. That's right. Milbester's saying, I can't believe I watched the. Okay, this sounds like this is exactly the same comment as the one before. Watched the 2 longest World Series games this century. Jays pulled a good fight. Lots of good defensive plays from both teams. Jays lost with over-aggressive base running blunders. That's what they were saying. The third base coach waved a Blue Jay through, and he probably shouldn't have. That's too bad. That's too bad. Reggie's saying Ohtani is a player for the ages, the greatest to do it. Yeah, that's what they're saying. I mean, I'm not educated enough to say it for sure. Wasn't Babe Ruth like him where he could pitch and hit too? There's been players from the early baseball history that are more reminiscent of Ohtani, but it's tough to be like Ohtani in today's baseball world where you're so balanced on both sides of the type of play. You just either go into pitching or you go into hitting, whichever one's your strength. But Ohtani has a strength on both sides, and that is very rare. It is very rare. Yeah, sometimes you're just in awe. He's incredible. Okay. All right, Milbester, I'm going to cut some of these out. We'll see. Cost them a couple of runs with regressive base running, and game stayed tied at 5-5 into extra innings and 18 innings. Both teams had bad bullpen, but they battled all night. 6-hour game. Crazy game. Crazy game. And I'm wondering how these bullpens and pitchers are going to look today after the game last night. That's an interesting part of baseball and when this kind of stuff happens, right? Milbester's saying, yeah, Smooth. Ohtani was intentionally walked 4 times in extra innings. Well, it seemed like that was the right decision in those situations because it went on and got past it most of those times. Smooth saying, like, I can't even be mad at him. He's amazing. You just got to be. Well, that's kind of how we should feel about Wemby, honestly. In some ways, there's a lot of parallels to Ohtani and Wembanyama. There really are. There's similar kind of like monumental player in their leagues. They're really like that. Seymour's saying, Kareem, that's hilarious. Gorilla glue. Gorilla glue? Glorilla glue. She's gluing herself to Brandon. Glorilla. Milbester's saying Yamamoto is going to pitch 19th inning on 2 days rest, which was ridiculous. Yeah, we're glad that didn't happen. Let's see. Kareem saying Ohtani is on PhDs. PEDs? You mean PEDs? That is flying under the American radar. They won't know until 10 years from now. He also was involved in the gambling scene. Don't let his smile and not understanding English fool you. Yeah, his translator was gambling, making money off of him, and a scandal. Yeah, and okay, you're blaming him for PEDs. Okay, well, somebody needs to test this man this morning. That's right. And Milbester's saying that's why Ohtani's dangerous at leadoff because teams will walk him. Can't let him beat you. MLB does the same with Judge, and he was intentionally walked a lot too. Chriscom's saying, what do you think of CMB for RJ as a starter? All right, Chriscom. I knew people were going to start coming with these questions like this. I think that we've seen one good game from CMB and one bad game from CMB, and there's no justice in putting him in the starting lineup right now. It's just because he looked very good last night doesn't mean he should be a starter right away. Now, he's inevitably going to be a starter. We should know that. And in fact, I like the times when Colin was out there with Scotty at the end of the game, because in some ways, that's 2 very plus defensive players. If Scotty would play defensively correctly, they could be very powerful tandem on the court together at the same time. So I'm not willing to do this yet. I'm more likely to want to put Oshai in the starting lineup before Colin right now still, because Oshai is more proven night in, night out consistently. And Colin's still a rookie. He's still going to make rookie mistakes. He's still going to mess up assignments. He looked good last night, but also there were a lot of things he could have done last night that he didn't fully do because he doesn't know what he's doing. So no, not yet, Chriscom. This is too soon. And in fact, I'd say there's guys in front of him that deserve to be in the starting lineup ahead of him. And I'm definitely damn for sure not starting him at center. That's a really bad idea. People are already starting to say, oh, we should start Colin at center. Forget about taking RJ out, put Colin in for Yak. No, that's not a good idea because he's not a center. He can't play center right now. He may be able to do it a little bit in spot duty in games, but he should not be starting at center and trying to get the bulk of the center duties. No, in some ways, that's a bad idea for development for young Murray Boyles, is to throw him in the fire and say, hey, you're a center now. You got to guard all the centers around the league. That's not going to help him develop. That's going to make it hard for him. And he may even be more injury prone because he has to guard against guys that he shouldn't be guarding against, honestly. He shouldn't be, yeah. That's what I say. Oshai before him right now still. Yeah, Milbester. All right, let's see. I'm going to skip that. Wayne saying, morning, Raptor Freaks. Tough loss, but very good game for Colin. Pirtle is hurting and trying to work through it. I want our problems now. Brandon and the offense is a bit over. Okay, we'll get better over time. Yeah, this is a great point by Wayne. I'd rather have our problems now at the beginning of the season than some of these things show up and mushroom up in the middle of the season after we think we're just so great and we're doing well. And then all of a sudden this stuff shows up later and it could be more problem then. So it's good in some ways we're having stumbling blocks at the beginning so we can iron them out earlier in the season. And really, if we fix them, we can get more of a landing strip going through the season into the playoffs of excellent basketball more and more as we go on. So I think Wayne's right. In some ways, it's a blessing in disguise that we're getting hit with some of this controversy and these problems and issues right now than, like, say, in the end of December or in January, because we need to fix this stuff. We were probably going to have to fix this stuff at some point. And instead of getting off to a good start, a false start that shows all this stuff. And in some ways, the Atlanta game was a false start of showing, ooh, we're all this and that. We're getting to see the ugly side of things, and we got to fix it earlier. And hopefully we can make a good fix and get our team playing at a better level on defense. That's the biggest problem right now, Raptors fans, is our team is not playing the correct amount of defense the way that they're supposed to. They're normally a way better defensive team than what we've seen so far. That's right. All right, I'm skipping baseball comments for the rest of the show, guys. I will read everybody else in some ways. I'll give Kareem one more. Definitely not a swing off. It's a baseball, not hockey, soccer, football, or basketball. They can do 25 innings. So yeah, they don't do a home run derby. That would be fun. Like, hey, we're doing a home run derby to finish the game. Vladdy, get in here. I don't know. I don't know baseball. See that? I just showed my ass. I don't know how they do it. So it's always extra innings. Like, so regular season games can go 18 innings. They don't call it after a while and say, oh, it's just a tie. Let's go home. I didn't want to stay out here for an extra 3 hours. Let's just go home. I don't know. I guess there isn't that. Yeah. A bullpen pitchers run out and risking position players to pitch and can get hurt at deep extra innings like that. Interesting. Yeah. Milbester's saying they do need a swing off in extra innings. They swing off in the All-Star game. Okay. Maybe. All right. Let's see. What was the injury to Springer? It's oblique. Okay. Okay. He's out for the rest of the day. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Fiercey's saying, so sorry. Yeah. See, you guys are getting too much on the Blue Jays here. Seriously. Let's see. Where's Fiercey? I'm on a Fiercey comment. Oh, man, it jumped ahead. There's a lot in here, y'all. There's a lot in here. So sorry to ask. Quick question in reference to the Blue Jays game yesterday. Why is it that Bo Bichette hit but then got replaced with someone else to run? I see these types of subs, and I'm not getting why. Okay, this is a good question. I can answer this one. Because Bo Bichette's been hurt. Like, he had a leg injury, and he missed the first few rounds of the playoffs. He's been activated for World Series, but his leg is still not totally right. So they do this. Sometimes they'll have a really good hitter, and they'll let them just pinch hit, and then they'll put a pinch runner on the base to run for them. So that's all they did. They just pinch run for him and took him out because he's not as quick right now because of a leg injury. So this is very common in MLB, is to have pinch hitters, pinch runners in different kinds of situations. And I think Bo Bichette was the second baseman last night, but he probably got replaced in the field after that too. So yeah, that's what it is, Fiercey. I hope that's the answer to your question. He's been hurt, And well, they had him run. And I guess Schmoo's saying it here. He's recovering from a sprained knee. He can't run at full capacity. That's it. He's like 99%, right? 90% right now. Okay, whoop-de-doo. All right, Wayne's saying, I'm thinking that Scotty is pacing himself for a long season. Don't know if he thinks he can coast and still perform at a level that will make us win games. He's definitely mindful of his energy level. I've always wondered about Scott with this. Like, seriously, play like there's no tomorrow, my guy. Like, it seems like you can play at a certain level and things right since you were a rookie, but it's like it shows up for periods of the game, like half a quarter or a whole quarter or a half. We'll see Scotty play at a extra high level of excellence in all kinds of different ways. In some ways, we want to see that period of time expand. Some of it was after his rookie year, you needed more conditioning so he could really play at a high level. But in some ways, we're still waiting for this, Scott. Like, I want you to be more consistently an overpowering player throughout more of the 48 minutes. But there's still periods of time where, like somebody just said, he's coasting. It seems like he's coasting out there and kind of letting the whole game kind of go around him. And he'll just kind of inject himself when it's naturally at times. But in some ways, we're asking for you to be more aggressive. You know, there's certain things that I saw last night with Shed and Murray Boyles that looks really promising. There's certain things with Brandon Ingram that's super promising as far as like the Raptors making a lot of shots in the mid range. Well, Scotty, there's stuff that you do in the low post and different things that you can do is very promising. And I'd like to see more. Like, go ahead and go do it. Like, force it into the game instead of waiting for it to naturally come to you. In some ways, we want you to go down there in low post on a smaller player and get those easy post shots. And or your teammates should be looking for you to set you up and get that lob pass into you when you're posting. So, I mean, we need Scott to do more. But right now, the biggest thing he needs to do is recommit himself to defense and playing at a high level of defense. You're not going to get any defensive player of the year consideration, Scotty, the way you played so far. It's absolute garbage so far. Really, seriously. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Seymour saying, did you see Amari Stoudemire? He is ripped more than ever, possibly roids. I don't know. In some ways, I won't speculate on that man. He's not in the league. He's allowed to do whatever he wants. And if he's just really working on his body, maybe he's in the World Bodybuilding Federation or something now. He's in a post-career where he's doing that shit. I don't know. G saying this. Why are people always trying to bench RJ? Can someone please explain why our most aggressive and consistent player is the only one people are asking to come off the bench? That is interesting. I wonder about that too. I think it's because RJ's ability could be very good off the bench. You know, it's a similar thing to Grady when Grady was starting last year. It's like in some ways I'd like Grady to come off the bench and be the sixth man. And well, he's kind of that this year. You know, RJ's scoring ability is very solid. And in some ways, we've known in the past that our bench has really been poor at scoring, days of Malachi and Precious. And we're kind of thinking about like, oh, man, if our bench had a more of a scorer, some people think that that's the fix. And you put RJ out there. I'm not totally against RJ coming off the bench. If he's getting the regular minutes that he gets still as starter minutes, and he's just that is put into more of a off the bench scorer role, it could be actually a good idea, but I do question why is it he's always the first one we say? Well, because IQ's kind of the top-notch point guard on our team. Scotty's not going to come off the bench. Brandon's not going to come off the bench. So that's kind of why it gets to that point, I think. I think that's why it gets to that point. Seymour saying, respect the channel. All right, I like that. Respect the channel. Milbester saying, I didn't mention much. Don't worry. There you go. I appreciate that, Milbester. I appreciate that. Well, you don't mind talking a little bit of Blue Jays and World Series. Obviously, we should. But also at the same time, we want to keep our focus on what we do here. That's right. Randolph's here. Good morning to Randolph. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks family. You must be deliberate and intentional about your goals and the actions and efforts you put forth in achieving them. Stay focused. Okay. Be deliberate. That's kind of what I want the Raptors to be more deliberate about their goals and what they're trying to do right now, and especially on the defensive end. Be more deliberate about your goals, Coach Darko and Scotty and the crew. Seriously, what are your goals defensively in NBA games? Be more deliberate about them. I like that. Blessings to the Phillips family, all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Let's go. G saying Jays didn't have Bo, Barger, Bad management, in my opinion. Springer and Kirk closer to the end of the game, missing 4 big hitters at one point. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about the specifics. I cannot tell you guys exactly what happened in the game, other than what y'all will tell me. Raptors champs saying, good morning, Raptor freaks. Good morning to you, Raptors champs. Thanks for checking in again once more at a 9:30 a.m. Eastern time stream with the Raptor freaks. I appreciate you. All right, Milbester, I'll read. No, that's too much in the weeds. I won't read that one. Let's see. Stargate's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, Stargate. Hope you're doing well. G saying Jays lost due to 3 reasons. Screwed them out of a run, base running mistakes, and 4 of their better hitters were out. The pinch hitters couldn't hit. That's tough. That's the thing about the long games is if you use your players, you can't use them again, right? So when you sub people out like Bichette, you can't go back to them. So you really kind of get to scraping the bottom of the barrel. And that's why in some ways, sometimes teams have to pinch hit pitchers late in the game because they have no hitters to come in or something like that. Right. Right. And the pitchers, oh man, it's all that kind of stuff. All right. Well, if the umps took a run away from us, that's no good. I don't like that. Is that some ump manipulation? Like we have ref manipulation in the NBA. We have ump manipulation in the MLB. Milbester, do you feel like the umps took a run away from the Blue Jays last night? Let's get an impartial opinion on this. Let's see if he thinks. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. He's talking about depleting the bench. You got to watch out for that. We didn't know this game was going to go so late. Come on now. Thank you to Smooth from Fiercey. And Seymour saying, is there any big man free agents we can take a look at? There's probably some people that are out there in different places. I don't know. I'm not sure what the list is right now. I'm not sure what it is. I'd love for us to get another guy. I don't want to think that we're not allowed to have a certain amount of centers on our team because the NBA has sanctioned us or something like that. Either way, man, I'm starting to think like you, especially because Yak is not effective right now. We need to get another big man, Bobby. And just for a second, we have an open roster spot. So maybe you should go and fill it with somebody who can be a big to help us out because we just need them. Orlando Robinson was a suitable guy for a little while last year, but he is on Orlando this year and he's not available. But maybe there's a player that's kind of like that floating around that we could maybe go see. Precious, maybe you go get Precious Achua and bring him back to Toronto real quick, Bobby Webster. Seriously, I wouldn't be against this. As boneheaded as Precious is, he has a certain level of defense and rebounding that he could help us right now. I would be okay with bringing Precious back. Yeah. Isaac's saying this, I'm going to drink 18 copies today. Are you doing that because of the 18 innings or because you like Darko Rajakovic and you're trying to be more like him? Is that why you're doing that, Isaac? All right. We're going to give you a dunk for helping the coffee industry. And speaking of industries, we want to do the straight goods on Canadian goods. I want to teach y'all more and more about how we can support the great country of Canada by buying Canadian goods. And today we're talking about Royale. You know Royale, it's a paper company. And you may have bought Royale in the past for your toilet paper, for your facial tissues, for your paper towels. That's right. Royale Tiger, Royale Velour, Royale. It's Irving Consumer Products. It's Canadian owned, manufactured in Canada, and sources are materially domesticated whenever possible. So manufactured in Canada employs Canadians, and they're recognizable by their kitten mascot. That's right. You see the paper products in the store with the kitten on it, and it says Royale. That's a Canadian product. So go on and get your paper towels and your toilet paper from the smooth, nice little fluffy kitten of the Royale kitten. There you go. Royale is a Canadian brand owned by Irving Tissue. There you go. Go on and get your Royale. Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. Royale with cheese. Royale with a kitten. And you wipe your butt with it. That's right. That's right. Milbester, I'm not reading that. Let's see. Raptors champ saying Colin Murray Boyles has proven that he could guard the center and help out Mamu and Yak. Allow Yak time to heal because it's hurting the team and his body. Yes, completely. Ineffective Yak is not doing us justice, and we're losing partly because of it. So, Darko, you need Dr. McKechnie need to really get him checked out and 100% before you bring him back, because in some ways, even a half Yak is not helping right now. It's not helping. It's hurting very badly, and I totally agree with this. That what Raptors champs is saying here. Yeah, I don't know if Colin's a true center. In some ways, like I said, spot duty at center stuff, but not overall. And he can't start at center, guys. And we know it's not a good idea right now. Maybe later in his career when he's more savvy and built up with his body, maybe, but not now. It's too soon. He's too green, and it would be a bad idea to play him too much at center. Just trust me. Just trust me. Smooth saying, sure. And Milbester's saying Jay's facing Otani's pitching tonight after that performance last night with those hits is a nightmare. Nothing's a nightmare. Nothing's brutal. You can put all the descriptors you want on it. I'll see it just as it's another game, and the Blue Jays have a chance to win. And let's go get that win, Blue Jays. That's what I'll say. No nightmares, no brutal losses, Milbester. You make it sound worse with your language. We got to do what we got to do. Isaac's saying, don't forget that Vladdy is still your daddy. We don't need to bring up the Yankees. All right. Kaz is saying, good morning, everyone. Good morning to Trucker Kaz. Good to see him in the chat today. Brandon and Glorilla are so cute. Fusey saying that. Let's see. All right. I'm skipping the baseball. We're done with baseball. I'm not talking about baseball anymore today. Okay. Let's see. Dunk. Isaac wants a dunk. Who's the dunk for? Seymour Pape? Yeah, we'll do a dunk for Seymour Pape for calling into the show today. Love hearing Seymour's voice. He's starting to get some distance from Kareem Thomas, guys. Seymour, you're at 249, and Kareem Thomas is at 245. So you've got a 4 dunk point lead on him currently. Wow, this is crazy. Wayne's saying, not yet, but Oshai is first on my list to go. Everything good, but his hunger or aggression level, to me, he's performing less than his talent level. When Oshai produces, he elevates the entire team. I think much like Grady, those guys don't get served well by 10-minute stints in a game. I think that they need to be 20 minutes in the game to be absolutely getting effective. But sometimes, giving 20 minutes to Grady or Oshai when they're not effective, that really hurts your team. So it's like Darko's getting tastes of them. If he doesn't feel like they're doing as well as they could in the 10 minutes he plays, he doesn't play them anymore after that. So I don't know. I've been noticed. I think Oshai's been one of the most consistent Raptors since preseason started, through preseason and into these games. Even though he's not making a lot of threes and points, he's been very consistent on defense with his energy and working and trying to play hard. So I don't know. In some ways, if I had to keep somebody on our team that's going to help us win a championship next, Oshai's near the top of the list. Seriously, because in some ways, Grady's not he's not a totally dependable shooter in the ways he needs to be. And Jacoby's fantastic. In fact, I think Jacoby I'd want to keep also because there's a defensive aspect to him. But Oshai in some ways is winning this battle to me, this position battle around that position in the Raptors roster. I feel like Baji is ahead of the other guys to a degree. Let's see. La 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 la. His take made sense from owner's perspective. Why aren't they even mentioned when they make so much money in billionaires? Because they protect each other. And in some ways, the media is totally sold out now. It's not like we have a free press. The press is a media machine to just promote whatever the oligarchs want to promote, and they'll hide the things they don't want them to talk about. So, free press and independent press is going wayside because people are attacking it. And not only just in the United States, here in Canada, that's why the CBC is important. That's why National Public Radio is important. That's why these sources we get information from that are not totally beholden to the government are important. And if the media is not going to cover aspiration or come after Steve Ballmer anymore, well, that's your sign that the oligarchs are protecting the oligarchs. But Chauncey Billups is not an oligarch, so he's not going to get protected. In fact, he'll be used as an example and also be shamed publicly in some ways. I hate to say it, but race is always a factor in these kind of things sometimes. I hate to say it. Let's just say this. Let's keep going. Cool Cat's here. Centers are Achilles' heel for many years. That's right. Coach Cool Cat and I have talked about this for a long time. We've been meeting on this channel for many years, and we've talked about this frequently. And, it's rearing its ugly head again with an injury to Yak. That's right. Wayne's saying the Raptors currently need superior coaching from Darko. They do. What I'm seeing is lack of execution and adherence to fundamentals. All these things are fixable. Yeah. I just want them to be more organized and look like they're doing something that is intended. Right now, they're too laissez-faire and kind of casual, And it seems like they're just kind of like making it up as they go. And there were periods like this around Nick Nurse where I'm like, Nick's not coaching. They're just out there going, doing whatever. And it feels a little bit like that in the last couple games. And that's why I want Darko to take a more controlled thing on this and make them kind of execute what he wants them to execute in some ways. That's what I want to happen next. Let's see. Randolph saying, Lex, who laughs last laughs the best. Teams that peak early will find out. Raptors just need to work on their weaknesses and they'll be fine. Yeah, we're a work in progress, just like we all are as individuals in society, and trying to be a better person every day. The 1% better every day philosophy of the Raptors and their team will come through in the end. And, the other thing is we're gathering tape and we're seeing our edition of the Raptors with Brandon, and we're learning more and more about what it's like and how it's got to work and what'll work the best. And the Raptors coaches are creative people, and hopefully they'll figure things out better and better as we go. That's what we need. In some ways, there's a lot of doubt in our coaching staff right now. And in some ways they need to prove, like Wayne's saying, that they are badasses and it'll shut up the critics, because that's what I want. I want them to do a good job so that people that don't want Darko to be our coach have no ammunition. I appreciate you, Randolph. And I hope that this is right. He who laughs last laughs the best. Okay. Stargate saying Raptors are not boxing out. Yeah. And specifically Scotty, he's not finding people to put his body between the basket and the ball. And also, there's too much of these long rebounds going into the mid-range of the court and no man's land, and everybody's standing there watching it. Meanwhile, Spurs and Mavericks are running to get it. So that's part of it, is this like hustle. Premeditation, Colin Murray Boyles. If you can tell where the ball's bouncing off the backboard, go get the rebound like Rodman would, is what I'm saying. You guys are better rebounders than this. Pre-visualize where the ball's going to bounce off the rim or the backboard and go get it. Go to that spot. And if it's a weird shot, like seriously, study this shit, Scotty. You could be a way better rebounder if you studied like Rodman does. Seriously, you should be doing Rodman shit. Studying the way balls bounce off of backboards and getting to know the angles and knowing which spot to run to. And then you'll average like 15 rebounds a game. Seriously, if you did that, Scott, I would be so proud of you, man. But none of the Raptors are learning how to rebound and track rebounds, because they're obviously just letting them fall in the middle, in the mid-range, and the other team's picking them up on offensive rebounds. So, yeah, box out, track the ball like Rodman would, and go fucking get it. And if you know different players on your team and their proclivities, like Emmanuel shoots like this, and it's more likely it's going to drop either short or if it's going to hit the front of the rim, around the area where the ball will probably bounce every time Emmanuel shoots. Just like Rodman studied Pippen and Jordan and Wennington and Steve Kerr and all them and how they shot. You need to do the same damn thing, Scotty and Colin and rebounders on our team. Understand where the ball is most likely going to go and go fucking get it, especially because we have a team that misses a lot of shots. So if you can understand where RJ's rebounding goes from his shot and the way it bounces up high off the basket and then kind of lands near the basket, to go near the basket when RJ shoots. Now, when Emmanuel shoots, maybe you go a little further out in the mid-range area where the angle is to go get it if he's going to miss. This is stuff that y'all should know. Just like mismatch stuff. You should understand mismatch. This guy's smaller. I should do this. I should do that. But in some ways, the new NBA is not cerebral. People aren't thinking or gaming to play properly. And it's symbolized by Scotty looking back at people or jacking up three-point shots with nobody back yet. This is not good basketball. You can play good basketball. You can play fundamentally smart basketball. And this is what Bobby Webster said when he says play smart. Play hard, play smart. Play smart. Understand where the basketball goes when your teammate Barrett shoots and he might miss. Understand where Mamu's Kareem is. It carooms off the basket. Oh, it didn't make it. Where is he most likely to bounce that ball to, Scotty? Why have you not studied this more in your 4 years in the league already? You could do this, Scott. This is an easy way to make yourself a better player right here. If you do watch me or you have somebody from your camp watching me, this is your assignment, Scott. Go study Rodman and the way he studied the way the ball bounces off the backboard with all his teammates, and you will increase your rebounding totals. Because you need this shit, man. You ain't boxing out, And you ain't going after those loose, long rebounds that are going in no man's land and the other team's running and hustling to go get it. That's a problem right there. Get into the loose balls. And long rebounds are one of those loose ball situations. Y'all aren't tracking very well. That's why I'll say that right now. That's right. That's right. Let's see. You have a theory that the Raptors are now showing fear of fouling. That's why they're playing so soft on defense now. I don't think that's it. I think that they're coming with low effort. I think in some ways these guys are approaching the game lackadaisically from the start, and they're not coming out with the right energy. This is a problem we've had in years' time sometimes, where the players just come out and they're just flat, or they just don't come out and match the energy of the other team. The other team smacks them in the face. That's the problem. These dudes need to come more ready. And you can blame the coaches maybe for not getting them amped up more, or maybe just blame the guys for not taking it more seriously right from the start of the game and getting the jump on things. There's a couple ways to look at this. I don't think they're worried about fouling. I think that they're playing lazy is what's happening. Stargate saying, I believe the way the refs they ref all our games have gotten to them and are very, very overly self-conscious of fouling. They're not. They don't care about fouling and get in trouble with this. In fact, they don't get in trouble for fouling. Darko doesn't get mad at them for fouling. And foul trouble is not an issue on our team right now. If the referees are calling fouls, they can't worry about this. I'm pretty sure this is not what's going on right here. Because I don't think they're overly self-conscious. I think they're being lazy. I think that they're just not putting in the right effort on the court. And that's what the problem is right now. Yeah, you think it's mental? No, I don't think they're worried about the refs calling fouls. I don't think that's what it is. I think that they're just being lackadaisical. It could be that they're on the first back-to-back of the season, too. They had their first back-to-back. It could also be that they're doing their first travel, trip for the season. They were lackadaisical. They had a better effort to start the game against the Mavs. If we think about the Dallas game, they matched the Mavs and were even at halftime. So they played them very solidly. It's just it fell apart in the third. And that's the thing that RJ said. We have to put it together for 48 minutes. We can't have lapses for parts of the game, and that will screw us up. We have to play well the whole 48 minutes. Now, the game against San Antonio, we came out last night, got ran over right away. Maybe we were tired from the night before, and we didn't come in with the right energy right away. Now it's no excuse because the Spurs played the night before too. So what's your excuse, Toronto? Oh, they didn't have to travel? We had to travel from Dallas to San Antonio? That's not very far. And y'all are professionals, and y'all need to come with the energy at the beginning of the game right away. Y'all failed against the Spurs last night. Yeah, I feel like that's what it was right there. Just maybe the first back-to-back and the first road trip. Fiercely saying, thanks for explaining the substitution, Lex. We're the pinch hitter. Yeah, the pinch runner. Jeff in the zone's back again. Hey, hope Raptors and Blue Jays get back in the win column. Yeah, me too. It's tough to have both teams lose games last night. You feel it? In some ways, if the Blue Jays had won the extra innings game last night, it would have made the Raptors game feel a lot better. And if the Raptors had beat the Spurs instead of losing, maybe that would have helped with feeling bad about the Blue Jays later. Yeah, it is what it is. It was a bad Monday for Toronto sports teams. Well, we start again tonight, Blue Jays. And Raptors, you get another chance tomorrow at home against the Houston Rockets. So, yeah, I appreciate you, Jeff, showing up again this morning. And, thanks for your subscription. Milbester's saying, my head hurts from watching an 18-inning marathon. I can't believe I watched the 2 longest World Series games in MLB history. Yeah, you said that already. All right, let me go look at my tabs some more, guys, and make sure I haven't missed anything. Make sure you keep up with your fantasy teams and the NBA Fantasy League we have for the Raptor Freak family. Very, very cool stuff going on there. So definitely check your lineups. Let's see the Instagram stories. The training camp roster for the Raptors 905 was announced, and they started training camp yesterday. And, of course, all 3 of our two-ways are there. They're not actually with the team in Texas. So Chucky Hepburn, Elijah Martin, and A.J. Lawson were not available for the Raptors in either of the Texas games, because they were back in Toronto at training camp with Andrew Jones and the team. So this is the team right now. We have a center for the 905 in training camp called Jaden Bediako, and he was a tryout. He came to the Raptors 905 tryout and walked on the team through the tryout last fall. I mean, like a month ago. So, yeah, Jaden Bediako is a center tryout. He walked on and made the team. We still got Tyson Degenhart as a shooter from I believe he was Boise State or something like that. Quincy Guerrier of the Montreal Alliance is back this year. Chucky Hepburn as a two-way. AJ Hogarth was one of the first-round draft picks for the 905 this past week. Lacey James is back again this year. Lacey was a center for us last year, and he's a big, bulky guy. Jarkel Joyner will be playing for us as a point guard. He played on Skyhawks last year. Tyreek Key is back for another year of 905 action. AJ Lawson, Elijah Martin, two of the two ways. Patrick McCaw returns to the Raptors organization and is on 905 this year. So we're going to see Pat McCaw show up in Mississauga and play again on the 905. Well, that'll be fun. JP Pegs was one of the draft picks for the 905 this past week. Julian Reese, the brother of Angel Reese, is on the squad. Jared Roden is there, along with David Roddy and Olivier Sarr also. So 905 squad looks pretty stacked. Going to be exciting to watch them in action starting in November when they start their season. So have a great training camp. Andrew Jones and the Raptors 905. There they are in practice, and we see Quincy with a big smile. There's Chucky and Juju Reese. That's right. They're having a fan fest for 905 on November the 4th at the MLSE Launchpad on 259 Jarvis Street, Tuesday, November the 4th from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It's a fan fest. There's going to be a basketball clinic, gaming stations, and more, plus special appearances by the Raptors 905 staff and players. So register now for Raptors 905 Fan Fest. It's coming up. Media Day is today also, guys. And 905 is asking, who do y'all want to see on Media Day? So, yeah, want to see Chucky. We want to see Elijah. Garrett Temple's wife has got new glasses. So it's like, new glasses? Who's this? Who's this? Kara Temple looking good in the frames. And Garrett Temple's a very proud, happy husband. That's for sure. Matt Devlin's got a crazy Raptors fanatic fan who's in a MasterCard commercial. Tickets secured for MasterCard benefits. And there's Matt Devlin in her house. And she's got her face painted halfway. I guess you have to have MasterCard and Tap to do this. Whatever. Corporate sponsorship. Kiss my ass. But either way, Matt Devlin's pushing MasterCard with some Raptors fans. I don't know. They look like freaks. They got the makeup on. There's Colin Murray Boyle's first NBA basket on Matt Devlin's Instagram. Yeah, it's a nice little move. I like his motion towards the basket. He gets easy shots. It's fantastic. SGA celebrating Chet Holmgren, throwing it down in a dunk. There's Murray Boyles coming into the game from the back. There's Jacoby coming into the game wearing his Balenciaga purple hoodie, and he did get in the game last night. There's AJ Lawson at a Canada Hoops 3-versus-3 event back home in Toronto. So, yeah, he was at a 3-versus-3 Canada basketball event. Lindsey Dunn in her blue dress at the Dodgers game, Blue Jays World Series, checking out what's going on there. And she was there for the long haul. She got there at 11 a.m. yesterday, and she was there till midnight their time there. So she spent a good 13 hours at the arena yesterday. That's crazy, man. 13 and a half hours at the arena for Lindsey. She put in that overtime work. Jay Simpson's been traveling with Scotty on this Texas road trip. His friend Jay Simpson from FSU, who was in his little entourage. Yeah, he's been at the games in Dallas and San Antonio with Scott at both the games. Let's see. Andrew Jones has got his training camp roster on his Instagram, and there he is coaching the team yesterday and the opening day of their training camp. And he's posted the Fan Fest information. There's a new merchandise drop by Toronto Tempo. They have a new hoodie. It looks really nice in their purple color, and they have new shirts too. So check out the new Toronto Tempo merchandise. Yeah, and there's a new hat too. It's a very cool hat. I think it's knit. Maybe somebody made that. I don't know if you can buy that hat. I think somebody made that hat, actually. That's pretty cool. The Stitch God. There's Serge Ibaka singing one of his songs on his Instagram. I don't know where he is. He's just singing. Cool. Slim Duck is saying this. Chris Boucher saying, there's nothing in a caterpillar that tells you it's going to be a butterfly. That's pretty cool. That's a quote by R. Buckminster Fuller, the architect. Also, he's saying this. So this is the part where I'm supposed to tell you it's not scary. Well, it is. But fear is natural. Fear is good. It just means you're growing. There you go. So Chris is feeling, I guess, the new place in Boston. And, well, it's not going as smoothly as he thought in some ways. It is what it is. Let's see. CBL is giving the Calgary Surge the business awards for a digital excellence award. So they did the best with their digital excellence Calgary Surge of the Canadian Elite Basketball League. Teresa Resch has got all kinds of information on women in sports. 2 in 3 Canadians are women's sports fans. That's 17 million of us. 49% believe that watching women's sports is as or more entertaining than men's sports. And 77% view women in sport as great role models. Yeah, that's all good stats, and I love it. And we're looking forward to seeing the growth of the WNBA here in Toronto with the tempo. He's saying everyone plays a vital role in elevating women's professional sports. It's time to play your part and help accelerate professional women's sports in Canada. Not a brand. Here's what you could do. Talk about it, get in the game, pay attention, ask for more, show up, and demand equity. There you go. I like all that. I'm going to be a big time Toronto Tempo fan, and I will cover them on this channel, Teresa. I promise. I promise. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Eric Smith's got a crazy Kramer from Seinfeld wobbling around. People going into work today after watching the World Series till 2 a.m, falling down on themselves. They've got some cool glow-in-the-dark stuff going on with the Raptors. Jamal Shed looking crazy in this one thing. They got these glow-in-the-dark Sour Patch Kids Raptors shirts that are going to be given to fans when they come in tomorrow. I seen that Kendrick Chronic Art James made a glow-in-the-dark Raptors logo tattoo on somebody's body in the last couple of days. That's amazing, Kendrick. It's amazing what I saw there. That was really good, man. That was really good. All right, I've done the Instagram check-in. Let me see what's going on. Milbester is just writing baseball stuff. It looks like, yeah. Stargate Sam Milbester said the same exact thing 3 different times, shaking my head. No, you know Eugene Omarui. Eugene Omarui is, I figured it out. He's in Dubai because he plays professionally in Dubai. That's why he's been over there. I thought he was just on vacation, high rolling. No, he's actually playing for a professional team in Dubai at this point. That's where Eugene Omarui is. Yeah. On another note, 10 to all my Jamaican friends, we are staying positive in reference to the hurricane. Hope your family stay safe. I heard, is it Hurricane Maria? Yeah, I mean, the islands, they're used to these kind of things coming through every once in a while. I know when I grew up in Florida, hurricanes were just a reality of possibilities that could be coming to you. So hopefully the people of Jamaica have a experience in dealing with this, and they're going to be very safe and batten down the hatches and weather the storm. Prayers for sure to the country of Jamaica as the storm is coming through, for sure. I know about this stuff myself from living in Florida. That's right. That's right. All right. I'm gonna keep skipping Milbester because he's still talking about baseball. And this is a basketball channel. All right, let's see. Raptors Reddit reactions. There's a picture of Chris Boucher dying on the end of the bench. Me watching the Jays game right now. That's a pretty apropos little picture for that. Somebody's saying this today, despite the loss, stat line is brought to you by Colin Murray Boyles, who had 4 stocks, 3 steals in a block, 19 points, 3 rebounds and assist, fearless in guarding Wemby. That's right. A bright spot that Raptors Nation can look at. That's right. A bright spot. That's right. So, yeah, in some ways, Raptors Reddit is kind of burning down with a lot of pessimism and all kinds of stupid stuff on there. So, there's a trade in here. I don't want to look at it. Should I? Oh, this is that dumb trade I've seen before. Yeah, I don't want to see that trade again. That's a dumb trade. I won't even talk about it. It's so dumb. I won't even talk about it. I don't even want to bring it up. Seriously. Let's see. Anything there? Nothing there. All right. Birthdays. Let's say happy birthday to, first of all, Jarrett Jack, former Raptor Jarrett Jack of Georgia Tech. He is an old teammate of Chris Bosh's. He played for the Raptors for 2 seasons, 95 games, 11 points per game from Jarrett Jack. You guys remember Jarrett Jack, right? You remember Jarrett. Well, Jarrett Jack is, as of today, he is 42 today. So happy 42nd birthday, Jarrett Jack. I believe he's an assistant coach on one of the other teams right now. I think New Orleans. I think he's an assistant coach in New Orleans Pelicans. So happy birthday, former Raptor Jarrett Jack. Also, huge birthday today, guys. An important birthday. A birthday in Raptors history that should always be treasured and loved. And honestly, I'm just so happy that he's still with us. Lenny Wilkins is 88 today, guys. And I know some people look down on Lenny as one of our coaches that they don't like, but I like Lenny. Lenny is a very important NBA player and coach in the history of the NBA. He's an important person in the NBA's history. And Raptors fans would be smart to embrace Lenny Wilkins' chapter as the coach of the Raptors. Maybe it was a little weird. Maybe he was a player's coach. Maybe the players were coaching more than he was, but who cares? We're still very lucky to have him as a part of our history. And I won't take no disrespect towards Lenny Wilkens. I feel like Raptors Delight, that shitty ass show that came out last year from Sportsnet, was disrespectful towards Lenny Wilkens and unnecessarily. So happy birthday, Coach Wilkens. 88 years old today, guys. 88. Yeah, I love Coach Wilkens. I think he was a great coach for us, honestly. I don't believe all the bullshit people dissing him and what they say. He's a Hall of Famer 2 times over, and he's a badass. That's right. That's right. All right, let's see what you guys are saying here. Fiercely saying this. Haiti may be affected as well. Yeah, they're all right near each other. Yeah. Randolph saying prayers for the nation and people of Jamaica. Lord, protect the people, livestock, and property from destruction in Jesus' name. Yes, I can get behind that for sure. Let's please, Creator above, look out for the island nations that are getting a storm coming towards them. As you always do, look out for them, please. Yeah, James is saying, I'm not sure what Utah is doing. What? What about Utah? I don't know. Kessler would be a good target for us. Maybe. I mean, maybe there's a trade in there that makes sense, and Kessler comes to Toronto. I'm open to that. I think he's a good player, and he might be a good center for us. We'll have to see. Seymour's putting prayers out, and let the food marinate first before making moves. Yeah, we got to let them play before we start trading, and that's definitely true. So yeah, we're gonna have if any trades are going to happen with the Raptors, they won't happen until December at the soonest. So people don't need to be calling for trades right now anytime soon. Oh, crap. Look at what I got today. All right, here we go. First name, full name answer, please, right now, right away. Get this garbage out of here. That's what I'm saying right away. Holy crap. Look at this. I didn't realize I had so many of these cards in here. Like, why do I have this card in my hand right now? Full name answer, classic card of the day. Oh, my gosh. Fiercely, you better fix that. Yeah, it is Goran. It's not Duncan Robinson. That's Goran Dragic. I've given negative points for getting Goran in the past, but I won't do that today. We'll make him 25 points, though. It's not negative, but it's really you're getting a half-ass points, not the regular 50. Goran Dragic, 25 points for Fiercey on the one today. That is the classic card of the day. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I pulled a Goran Dragic card. That's gross. Moron tragic. That's right. That's right. Fiercey saying, Lex, you missed my comment about the fitness to play. Can we get more info on your opinion? Where is the comment on fitness to play? Where is your comment on there? Oh, here. I see it now. I was looking to see if there was a list of players in the fitness to play program and more info, but nothing. I was curious about Shamshay. I have no idea. I haven't really looked into this stuff. You've looked into it more than me. I should probably try and look into this stuff. I don't know. I don't trust this. It's frivolous. I don't know the reasoning. They haven't given us a medical reason for why Shamshay is not available. They haven't done anything like that. It's very secretive and kind of convoluted and fucked up. So I don't know what to tell you, Fiercey. You probably learn more about it than I do because I haven't really looked at it. I'd love to see a list of who's currently on it and see the reasoning and all this kind of stuff. But it's mysterious. And to me, it's some sort of weird weapon that the NBA is using to kind of manipulate things is what it seems like to me. That's what it seems like to me. But I don't know enough about it. I should probably study it more. You're showing me a weakness that I have that I need to go look at and find out about. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. I want to get out of here because I need to go use the bathroom. All right, W Stream, W Community. Yeah, it's totally fishy, and it's not on the up and up totally. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. The Raptors lost to the Spurs. They're now 1-3. Don't get all crazy, Raptors fans. We got to right the ship. We got a work in progress. We're going to figure it out. We're going to get better. 3 stars of the game for the game last night. Colin Murray Boyles, RJ Barrett, and Manuel Quickly with an honorable mention to Brandon Ingram. All right, guys, I appreciate everybody watching. I'll be back tomorrow with the preview for the Rockets game. All right, Blue Jays, you got to win tonight, even the series against the Dodgers. And, yeah, we're not afraid of nothing. Ohtani bullshit. All right, Milbester, none of that. No, we coming in to play and compete, and hopefully the Blue Jays will get the right outcome for them tonight. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Blue Jays. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's go Raptors.